Let's see if we can do this. I'd like to see if we can get some humans going here. That, and I'm still technically doing some testing. Yeah, see, test stream. To make sure that I gave him the right information in terms of how to configure the fucking thing to begin with. That'd be kind of nice.
That it would.
But yeah, I don't know. Today is just fucking dead in terms of people. I was in at Pang a little bit earlier, and it kind of just really didn't go much. Anyway, after we went offline, it was just like everyone just vanished. One of those things. Let's see now. Let's make sure this is actually going piping through all right. Let's see now. Live streaming. Let's take a look. Yeah, it looks like it's going. Yep, it thinks it's going. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm starting to wonder how much they've really changed shit with that anyway. I don't know if I have to actually promote it or what the fuck's going on here. It's supposed to be online and live and shit. No, I don't know. We'll fucking see. But yeah, this whole thing that a lot of people do that, they see about starting their little hangouts or whatever, and no one's actually fucking online. It's kind of a bitch.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see now, screen cap. There we go. Grab this shit.
Oh wow!
Up there.
So apparently, one of the Pope Francis's let's see, I'm not sure of his official position. There's an archbishop who works out of the Vatican as an advisor to Pope Francis, and he apparently spouted some heretical belief.
Francis, or who spouted the?
His advisor. According to Archbishop Gonswine, he denies that there is actually a proof for God's existence. Which, if you follow Vatican I, there was a decree by Pope Pius the Ninth, and it says, "Reason can prove with certitude that the existence of God, the spirituality of the soul, and the freedom of man. Faith is posterior to revelation, and hence it cannot be conveniently alleged to prove God's existence to an atheist." Oh, sorry. This is uh, and hence it cannot be conveniently alleged to prove the existence of God to an atheist, or to prove the spirituality and freedom of the rational soul against a follower of naturalism or fatalism. The method which St. Thomas Aquinas and Bonaventure and other scholastics after used does not lead to rationalism, nor is it the reason why philosophy in today's schools is falling into naturalism and pantheism. Therefore, it is not lawful to charge as a reproach against these doctors and teachers that they may be made to use this method, especially since the church approves or at least keeps silence. Oh, that's weird.
I don't know.
Oh, sorry. Here it is. If anyone shall have said that the one true God, our Creator and Lord, cannot be known with certitude by those things which He has made, by the natural light of human reason, let him be anathema. If anyone shall have said that divine revelation cannot be made credible by external signs, and for this reason men ought to be moved by faith, by internal experience alone of each one, or by private inspiration, let him be anathema. So
I like that they're doing the anathema thing, seeing as that is the actual biblical text on it.
Yeah, I mean.
Well, granted, we're going back to Romans, and you know how much I love Paul.
Yeah. Yes, I know how much you love Paul. Which is, it's actually.
I think somebody should have loved him with a hammer, frankly. But that's me.
I don't know. I think anyone who's willing to leave their life of relative wealth and fame and lose that all and even wind up in jail. I think there's some kind of what's the word? I think there is some praise that could be lent to that, like someone actually living by their conviction.
I don't know. I mean, I still maintain that it sounds like every other fucking preacher that I've heard stand up talking about, oh, I used to be so terrible and look at how great I am now. It really rings with that to me still.
Yeah, but who are the preachers that are saying it's people like, they're people who say, oh, look how sinful I was. Now God has provided me a church and a home with electricity and riches and all these followers, whereas Paul actually lost out on things of that sort.
My screen's not going the way I want it to. Damn it, where are you? There we go. You're that one. Okay, there we go. Got it. Doing fancy things with the screen today. Fuck this shit. Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, the whole Paul thing's always kind of irked me, but you know that more than anything else.
Yeah,
I
if there's one
mean,
thing I've learned about our hangouts together.
well, I mean, it's kind of one of those things, you know, you have the Jesus character, and I've always thought that a lot of the Paul stuff that Paul said seemed to be kind of counter Jesus. Nowhere near as bad as the modern GOP shit as counter Jesus. Holy crap, man.
Oh, come on. We all know Jesus would want to kick out illegal immigrants out of Bethlehem.
No, of course he would. Yeah, he'd want to throw out immigrants and take away people's health care and all this kind of crap, you know. I mean, there is one verse in there when he's asked to save the leper that he sounds really irritated.
Yeah, exactly.
Ac-
Especially since the leper didn't give him any health insurance.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, actually, there is in line with the leper in I'm not sure if it's a leper or what, but there's one point in which he's asked to heal somebody that he does sound a little irritated, but it's more so like, will you people stop trying to get me to do all this shit for you? Just fucking believe, for fuck's sake. Kind of a hoot in that, but
uh, so, well, I mean, yeah, I do think that there are a lot of modern day conceptions of Jesus on both the left and the right that do tend to suck. I mean, the notion that Jesus was also this pacifistic hippie as
well,
well. I don't think that holds up that
he
much either, or
did
that he
make
was
a
a communist.
scourge and start chasing the people down with it. Yeah, that was a little premeditated.
Yeah, not to mention he seemed to be kind. Not to mention, Big Tree seemed to upset him a lot.
Well, in one of the Gospels, doesn't he say none of this would be happening if I had an army or something like that?
Not sure. He does say that. Yeah, he does actually say, "Look, if I wanted to, I could call down an army of angels to stop this, but no, just let them take me." I think he says that to his apostles.
Yeah, that could be it. When he's trying to
Yeah,
get them not to fight back and get themselves needlessly killed because he's the one that they want or something like that.
exactly.
I'd have to go and look again. It actually, that particular reference I got from ages ago, a list of Hitler's famous Bible quotes,
I mean,
because he apparently
there's
believed in a warrior Christ because of his selective read of it.
yeah. I mean, you really have to take the Jesus of the Gospels in a more holistic sense. I mean, the way I see him is he's he's a Messiah. He is trying to fulfill like three different roles, or at least the gospel writers are trying to get him to do that. He's trying to be an atonement sacrifice, but he's also trying to be a Messiah who's hearkening a new apocalyptic age. But at the same time, he's also trying to be a prophet. Like these are the three prophet and king, but these are like the three roles that are trying to come together.
I don't
And
know. In
when
the earlier Gospels, how apocalyptic was it, though, really?
oh, actually, Mark and Matthew are actually, I think, the more apocalyptic gospels.
I've never really done a parallel read of them to try and compare something like that, which is why it came to mind.
Uh, I mean, some of John is also pretty apocalyptic. So you know John chapter 3 where he talks to Nicodemus.
Well, John's the latecomer, isn't he?
He is, but like when Jesus Christ says, "For God who," like when Jesus Christ says, "For God so loved the world, He sent His only begotten Son." Like that, he's not referring to individual people. He's not referring to this person or that person. Like, I really dislike how Calvinists try to read that as saying, "Oh, he's really only speaking to the elect because if you translate it in such and such a way." Or if you talk to Arminians and they'll say, "See, this proves that Jesus dies for everyone." Really, when Jesus is saying he loves the world and he's saving it, he's not referring to each and every individual. He's referring to the whole of creation. He's speaking of renewal.
Yeah, I think that's actually a better way of looking at it than it's just for his happy little fan club. But
Yeah.
incidentally, yeah, Sam, it's a little bit early, but I don't know. I'm bored out of my fucking skull, and Carrie Fisher died, so I'm kind of meh. Can't actually get myself to write today, so it's not being able to do that at the moment. I'm just actually, generally speaking, I can't write anywhere from late November through about February, generally speaking. So that's not necessarily too much of a factor, but it's not like I'm going to just sit here, open up a hangout, and read until people show the fuck up. So I'm like, I'll bug Epi because I can.
Well, I'm always open. Oh. So for Christmas, I was actually able. One of my family members scored me this awesome book on evil by Thomas Aquinas. Essentially,
Right
it's
up your alley.
right up my alley. Yeah, and I also got one I think even you might like. Hold on.
Is it Is it? Does it tell you how to be evil? The next one? What?
Oh no, it's actually a book
Ah,
on the nature of evil, how particular things constitute evil, how to avoid certain evils, things like that. And I also got this one on Greek mythology.
cool.
So yeah, that one I'll be happy to read. This
You're
one's nice because it comes in sections, and you could read half.
you're kind
You
of
could
an
read a
exception
section
to
at a
that rule,
time.
aren't you?
What do you mean?
General rule, a lot of people that study mythology, expect particularly at young ages, tend to be less likely to be religious.
Oh no. Well, actually, that might be true in the study, but yeah, I think I'd be the
I said I
exception to
think
that
you're an
rule.
exception.
Yeah, I probably would be. I don't know. Like, eh, I, I don't know. I guess maybe
I
there's
think
a
getting an
place.
idea of myth making actually makes some of the mythological, we'll just say, nature of the text a little bit more. Let's just say it takes away its teeth. Let's just go with it that way.
Actually, I think I'm probably in the same boat as C.S. Lewis. C.S. Lewis was also very into myths, other religions, European mythology.
Well, he was a linguist, wasn't he? No, it
Yeah,
was Tolkien. Tolkien was the linguist, actually.
Tolkien was the linguist. Lewis actually taught about mythology, and he also taught a bit of philosophy courses, funnily enough. But yeah,
That
Lewis.
doesn't surprise me. The thing that gets me is you have your people that are kind of regarded as being the fathers of the fantasy genre, so to speak, and you end up going to Tolkien and Lewis. And Lewis, of course, just kind of turned it into kind of this weird Christianized whatever, and Tolkien just did his thing separately. But if I remember correctly, the two of them were pen pals, weren't they, after the war?
Yeah, they were. In fact, fun fact about Tolkien, he actually received some pushback from the church for some of his writings. Like, who was it again that in the Lord of the Rings series that was immortal? Was it the orcs?
Um, I can't think of anyone of those. Okay, the only one I can think of that's immortal was Bombadil and his wife.
Immortal in the sense that they could live forever. They couldn't die from old age, but they could die.
The only ones that as far as I'd understand, Bombadil's wife was a full immortal. She's the queen of the elves thing going on there, and Bombadil himself was referred to as essentially being as old as time.
The Yeah, I believe there was some pushback for the Catholic Church
The
about it
Ents,
because
though, the Ents were the ones that could be killed, but were effectively immortal, though. If I
I
remember
see.
correctly, I think it was the Ents. It's been a while.
From what I've read, the Catholic Church actually pushed against that because they thought, no, immortality is supposed to be perfection, and yet these beings are jealous of the mortals. But if immortality is something of a perfection, how could they envy the mortals? Like that seemed like
I
they
don't
thought.
see why immortality would be perfection. I mean, you'd have more time to try to get shit right, but why would it be perfection?
I guess because in the Catholic Church, immortality is tied to the beatific vision and the end of days, where uh,
Because they tie it to divinity, basically.
yeah, essentially. Although Tolkien's response was pretty interesting. His response was, even God's gifts can be curses. The
I'd
idea,
I'd think immortality would be.
he actually spoke, and considering his life, that actually speaks true because Tolkien lost his father before he was born. He lost his mother at a young age, and his mother, when she died, him and his brother effectively became orphans,
Well,
and they were
both authors actually went through hell because they both served in World War One in the trenches, if I recall.
they did. That's another thing.
That's got to change your perception. I mean, Tolkien, a lot of Lord of the Rings is kind of reflective of the Great War.
But what's funny enough is when Tolkien never had these life experiences, if he never grew up in the rectory as an orphan, he wouldn't have had the skills of reading and writing as an author. If he didn't go through the trenches, he wouldn't have had those experiences through Europe, and frankly, had a bit of a disdain for for the war, and this is kind of what rings true for him. Like these are like Tolkien has all these blessings, but they came from curses. So God's curses are even God's curses are blessings, and even
Or even
God's
his
blessings are
blessings can be curses. Yeah,
exactly.
I see that.
And
I guess.
yeah, I mean, if I guess in the beatific vision or when we get immortality, it's going to be a gift, but it's only because we can only appreciate it really because we've been cursed with mortality, at least in this life.
It sounds boring to me.
Yeah,
I mean, forever. Just yeah, it's an awfully long time.
yeah, but you have to
Joke
factor in.
intended.
But you have to factor. Okay, I get it. A long time.
Yeah.
Uh,
What if it turned out that this whole idea of forever was that you step outside of A time into B time?
People have posited that, and in fact, I think that's what William Lane Craig's view is.
Hmm.
Like so one answer so there's a problem concerning heaven and hell. If you're in heaven, how are you not going to just be spending all your time worrying about those who are burning in hell while that's going on? One answer is no, you don't have time to worry because it's just one eternal moment of enjoying God's vision, and you won't really have enough time. There is not going to be a moment of realization of other things going on. You're just going to be so enthralled by the vision that it's not going to bother you.
I don't know. It just I don't know. It still sounds boring. I mean, this is why when you start talking about the idea of like having some kind of like soul that's eternal or this and that, I think that the Hindus and what have you have a slightly better idea in the whole reincarnation. You get bored, you come back. Now, granted, their whole thing of you're trying to perfect yourself and all this other stuff, and that I think is a little bit squirrely. We'll just say, but the idea of as opposed to something along those lines, you go, you're over there, it's kind of boring for a while, you come back and do something else because why the fuck not? But you end up with this kind of perception that where the interesting shit happens is in the so to speak real world, not the spirit world.
The
Because
way I see
you don't have like your technology and your video games and this kind of stuff over there. So you come back, see what humanity's done in the meantime.
the way I see it is I think boredom is attached to just having a hedonic treadmill. If your life becomes so exciting out like we have a life where we're surrounded by electronics, computers, we have the whole world at our fingertips on the internet, tons of video games. Like there's no it's really hard to think we'd have room for boredom, but lo and behold we do. Whereas if someone was living in the second century, they'd also be content with their circumstance despite having far less than we do and being surrounded and how terrible the ancient world would have been in comparison to the modern world.
Well, isn't that kind of the goal of humanity is to come up with new ways to try and combat boredom?
Yeah, in one sense, yeah. I mean, but if the hedonic treadmill is just taken out of our psychology um, and God is a source of infinite goodness where you'll never be bored, but you're always hitting a new plateau of appreciation, then I don't see how you'd ever get bored.
I don't know that it necessarily follows, but my brain's not completely with it either.
And imagine, I guess,
I mean, I guess seeing as a component of boredom for most is linked with depression. If you take away the ability to be depressed, then you don't have the boredom. Is that kind
yeah,
of?
essentially, like maybe boredom is just one of the consequences of original sin. Like who knows?
Boredom is a consequence of original sin. I think I like that one. That's hilarious.
That is, uh, I'll add it to my new theory.
What do you think Christianity would look like if they took out this whole original sin thing?
No, I personally wouldn't get satisfied with the religion without it.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I can like um. Here's the thing. I feel less guilty with original sin than I think I would without it. So, um, uh, paradoxically enough, like if God created me perfect and we never fell, but every bad thing in the world was a result of us purely, then really we can blame God. Really,
The idea of God creating us perfect, I think, is problematic too, though.
uh, but uh, but here's the thing. If yeah, yeah, it is, but My point is, if we were created good initially and we still have the ability to hit perfection but constantly fail at it, then it's really hard because we can never forgive ourselves for that. I could never forgive myself. But if I realize I was born with a bit of a disability to do that, then I kind of understand it. I could say that it's not really fully my fault. If that makes sense.
I don't know. The whole notion of sin, I still kind of squawk at. I mean, to me, if you go through that particular narrative in Genesis, I think it makes much more sense to kind of frame it along the lines of, you have basically an analogy for what it's like to be young. You're born into the world, and prior to getting to a certain age, you don't necessarily know right and wrong. And once you learn right and wrong, then you can be rightfully judged on your actions,
Hmm.
as opposed
Yeah.
to, oh, they did this horrible thing. Come on.
Well, the innocence of childhood, that's one way of seeing it. Like um, the transition from when your shortcomings are not completely your own because you've never contemplated the evil properly before transgressing, and then
Or
adulthood,
not simply understanding cause and effect fully.
or that. Whereas when you're an adult, you can say, "This is." We've all been in that situation where we know what we do is wrong, but we do it anyway.
Yeah.
And we immediately regret it once it's done. Telling a lie is just one instance of that, or at least for me.
Well, I mean, the thing is, when you start getting into this whole, you get in, like with your commandments and this kind of stuff, the thou shalt nots, or the Pastafarian version of it, which I think is something along the lines of, I'd rather if you didn't. But I mean, this is the thing is, is there a time when it's appropriate to lie? Is there a time when it's appropriate to steal? And I think arguments could be made for any of these things.
There's I mean, regarding lying,
Murder is a little bit rough, but
well, murder is by definition wrong. Murder literally means unjustified killing.
yeah.
Whereas if you could justify killing in a particular circumstance, by definition, it's not murder. But regarding lying, even the church father Saint John Chrysostom actually taught that there are some people who don't deserve the truth. These would be people who are actively trying to kill you, for example. Um, there was actually a debate between two Catholic theologians on the matter, on whether or not it was okay to lie to patients who want an abortion. Um, like one theologian took the church's position, which is no, it's never okay to lie under any circumstances.
Mm.
The tradition following Saint Augustine, so it would be wrong to lie to an abortion patient. Like, where can I get an abortion? Oh, the other theologian would have said here, and then they would just be misdirected to some clinic where it was run by Christians of a certain sort who would just do their best to dissuade that person from getting an abortion.
Which then
Whereas,
kind of makes you look like a piece of shit, frankly. But
well, if you believe that the unborn fetus is a person, then
I don't want to necessarily go down that road too far, and that's the thing is we've hit kind of that hot button issue because, granted, you and I, it's not that big a button for per se, but a lot of people get really weird about it. But I
right,
mean, the thing is, all the Christians that are like, oh, well, it's wrong because of the Bible. Actually, no, it's really not wrong because of the Bible. It's wrong because you don't like it, and if once you accept that, we can have a discussion. That's kind of my take on it.
I mean, do people generally like the thing? Do people generally like the things that they're against? Um, in general, there's certain things I like that I take a position of being against. So, for example, like homosexuality is sinful to me, but I have positive views but I, but I laugh when I think of lesbian relationships. For some reason, I find those funny or sexually appealing.
Yeah, lesbians are kind of hot. It's
They
okay.
are kind of hot. Like that's something I have to admit. But at the same time, yeah, given my background, given my ethical viewpoint, I have to say, okay, fine. I
I'm
know
going to give you a weird case
they're
in point here.
as hot
When
as they are.
I'm going to give you an odd case in point here, and this kind of speaks, I think, a little bit to the way the human mind works. At the school that my wife went to, there were a pair of twins, attractive young strapping men that went to her school, and what they would do as a fundraiser is they'd have the two of them oil wrestle. So the girls are all like, "Woo, big attraction," all this other stuff. But in her case, she's like, I'm sitting there and I understand the aesthetic of it, but at the same point in the back of my brain, I'm thinking this is really kind of gross when you think about it. They're twins, they're brothers. Ew. It's kind of that disconnect the brain has. So, we sit there and think, oh yeah, twins, that's kind of hot. It's like, yeah, it's also kind of incestuous. Whether you're thinking about female twins or regardless, it's yeah, kind of gross.
Yes, yes, it is.
But once you sit there and actually fully analyze the situation, until that point, it's like, oh, that's kind of hot.
Yeah, or mother-daughter stuff. Like,
Well, I mean,
every,
this is kind of the thing is, I mean, I think intellectually we disconnect ourselves from a lot of different notions.
that much is true.
I
I,
think it might be a survival necessity for that matter.
or for example, like in the case of abortion, if you really do believe those are people dying, then there's really a genocide happening every year, and yet on a global scale, and yet there's not really this whole civil war fought over it. Like even people who are pro-life have that disconnect.
Well, I mean, the thing is, though, I mean, you go back to the Bible, and if you have to make a choice between the child and the mother, in accordance to Judaic law, you make your choice is clear. You choose the mother.
Hmm.
This is just how Judaism works. This is the mitzvah. This is just how it's structured. But the Christians are like, no, God says no, He doesn't. No, no, no.
Uh,
God has exceptions. I got news for you.
what's really funny is evangelicals didn't really care about this issue until much later on. It was they, in fact, before I believe it was Billy Graham in the 1960s or 70s. Evangelicals just thought it was an individual issue that a woman sorted out, and um, and really only it was one that only Catholics cared about, that and contraception. But
Oh God, the we're opposed to abortion and contraception thing annoys the piss out of me. That's just
but
obnoxious.
but when but
It
after
kind
Roe
of it's kind of like we don't want you to have any fun.
but
Also,
after
kind of
Roe
going back to Judaism, the whole notion of don't have sex unless you're planning on having kids.
but as I was saying, it wasn't until after Roe v. Wade where evangelicals started making a stink of it. But before that, they largely considered it a Catholic issue. And the one issue evangelicals just banded together over before that was segregation. They actually thought that universities ought to segregate. The,
Yeah.
that was the big thing that gathered them together before the abortion thing.
Well, there
Whereas
still are some weird churches that are promoting the idea of quote unquote not mixing the races and term. Ick.
I never got that, especially considering Moses had a black wife.
Yeah, well, they don't bother to pay much attention. Wait, did Moses?
Yeah, his wife was a Crushite. They
Really?
were, yep, they're an African group.
I know that what was it, Saul? I think it was with there's a story about that, I believe, or was it David? The link to the Ethiopian queen. Which one was that?
David.
That was David. Okay, I wasn't sure on that one. It's been a while. A lot of
Yeah,
this knowledge is just no longer exists in my brain since the stroke, so I'm just like, I'm fumbling again.
yeah. I mean, unless Ethiopians are white, I don't see.
No.
Yeah, I don't see how anyone can be against interracial marriage from a quote unquote biblical perspective.
Well, I mean, that's just it. It's how many people just take their biases and roll them into the text and say, nope, nope, nope. God says it's like this, and this was kind of my thing when I was around the time that Tiller got killed in a fucking church while he was sitting there doing his job as an usher. And the idiot that went in there did it because, O'Reilly and this and that is telling them that God wants this, that, and the other, that whole kind of shtick. And, you have two people both think they're doing God's work. One feels he's doing it by helping these women get their abortions and praying with them prior to it, and as well as after. And you have this other guy that, oh no, he's a baby killer. I'm going to murder the fuck out of him because God wants me to. It's like, this God character is really inconsistent if you listen to everyone that claims to be following him.
I mean, as a
But
pro-life person myself, I just don't think that you want to promote a quote-unquote pro-life movement by killing people. Like
yeah, that's a little
that, that,
hypocritical too. Yeah.
that's just me. Um,
But this is kind of my twin problems that I have with the pro-life movement is that they're pro-life until the moment the baby's born, then fuck them. And in addition to that, you have people that are willing to quote quote murder in order to save lives, and it's like, wait a minute, you don't see hypocrisy in here.
yeah, there does seem to be a bit of a shuffle going on.
But yeah, the thing that I went after though was this whole thing of trying to blame their views on God, and it's like, no, that's bullshit. If this is how you feel about it, acknowledge this is how you feel about it, and we'll get along just fine. Stop
Well,
trying to put it off on someone else.
I don't know. I don't get why people. I don't get how that's supposed to solve anything, though. Assume that God is responsible for your beliefs. You're still responsible for your actions.
Yeah, and but the thing is, it seems to me that so many of these people are just trying to pawn it off on God. And that's kind of where, in my mind, the real bullshit comes in is like, nope, 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 it's God, it's not me. Nope, 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 it's God. It's like, well, accept responsibility for your own fucking actions, retards. I mean, that's the kind of the thing. It's at a point, the whole God thing kind of becomes a scapegoat for a lot of people, and that's where I have an issue. Because whether there is a God or not, I don't think he wants to exist just to be your fucking personal excuse.
Yeah, I mean, it would be better if you just acknowledged it and went to jail for the martyr you think you are.
Fair, I guess. Still a little weird to me, but it's going to be, I guess. I'm not a theist. I mean, I don't see why the divine would necessarily care all that much about such things. You know, this is a personal decision, and if he's going to give you freedom of choice, why doesn't he let you make it? If, well, he, of course, is a colloquial. There's a
I
reason to see it as a he, but
no, I get your use. Well, I mean, God also gives us the freedom to do a lot of other sinful actions. And just because one ought not do it doesn't mean God's gonna, give you physical limitations that prevents you from doing all evils.
hmm,
I,
fair.
I mean, so, oh, but I've never told you this, but I actually got into a conversation with someone who's against interracial marriage, interracial relationships in general. When I actually showed him the passage in the Old Testament where, so not only did Moses marry a Cushite, but his sister and brother opposed it, and because they defied Moses, God actually plagued them both, and they had to be. They were so diseased they were separated from the camp, and they were only integrated back in after they apologized to Moses.
Hmm.
So really, the only thing we have about interracial marriage is uh, the one brother and sister team that opposed it was punished by God. When I actually brought this over to someone who claimed to be against interracial mixing, he just flat out denied it. He's like, oh, well, I can't really respond, but I'm still against it. I'm like, the Bible, didn't you just say you?
And this goes back to the whole thing. They're trying to blame it on God ultimately, and they need to just fuck off.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, it's. I mean, if you're going to blame it on God, at least give some kind of justification on how God linked that belief to you.
Yeah. Yeah, let's share this with Alan, but I haven't done that yet. It's not like we have any viewers. We had Sam for a couple seconds, and we already got a thumbs down, so I don't know. I think my thumb down trail might exist again.
Oh, my friend Jim wrote 2016. You better keep your hands off Jeff Bridges.
Oh, give it time, man. I mean, there's. I keep looking and going, okay, how many days left do we have?
We actually have
Yeah,
wow,
1, 2, 3, 4 more days.
4.5 if we include.
Now,
Uh,
granted, my wife did make the comment that she's kind of glad that Carrie Fisher, if she was going to die, that she died prior to it changing over, because it'd be a shit way to start off 2017.
yeah, maybe 2017 will start positive. Maybe with the death of Ted Nugent.
Well, I mean, here's kind of the thing, we have Trump coming into office, so I don't think 2017 is going to start that great either way.
Yeah, there's also an emoji movie, like a movie literally based on emojis.
I don't get that.
I don't either. Hollywood's running out of ideas.
I think Hollywood's been out of ideas for years. Here's something that's popular and trendy. Let's use. Oh god, it's like they clicked on trending today and just said, let's make a movie based upon it.
Yeah, I mean, I remember like Hollywood used to actually take risks with scripts that weren't based off of prior movies, video games, films, pretty much anything.
Oh, dude, video game shows should be fucking banned. Oh my word. Just yeah,
But
yeah.
they have a success rate of like 2%.
Oh, they're fucking horrible. I mean, just generally speaking, if any movie based on a video game is not worth seeing, I think there might have been like one or two exceptions. Granted,
Yeah,
there was one video game based on a movie that worked, but that was the Ghostbusters video game.
people actually consider that to be like the third movie.
Yeah, I can see why too. I've
But
gotten confused so many times thinking there were three, weren't there? Nope, one's a video game. Ah, fuck.
I was actually going to see the new Assassin's Creed movie, but it was panned by the critics.
Oh, it's been fucking lambasted, but you gotta kind of expect that to be crap on a level. I mean, the kicker is when you're playing the video game, with the cinematics and the way that it's structured, you might as well be watching a fucking movie. So why is it so hard to convert this into a movie?
Well, actually, the audiences didn't seem to hate it that much. It has a 66% approval by audience members.
Hmm. Yeah, but what are the approval ratings on the Transformer movies?
To be fair, that started off as a cartoon series.
I know, but that's a little bit of an aside though when you really think about
Oh,
it though.
oh, oh! You mean in terms of just audience over critics? Yeah, that was a
I
that
mean,
was.
there seems to be a pretty basic formula on how to make your movie get decent reviews. You can have the first half or even the first and second acts complete fucking crap, and as long as you have a strong end, people seem to forget the beginning.
That is a good point.
I mean, for example, I got at one point I got into an argument with Boom in one of these, and it was about that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movie. You know, the one in which they had Megan Fox keep with her mouth fucking hanging open for the first entire act.
Yep.
I think at the beginning of the second act, she actually closes her mouth for a moment just to lick her lips because her crack coked lips are dry. Kidding, kidding, kidding on that. But I mean, it was a horrible fucking movie. It was crap, and the turtles weren't acting like the turtles, and there were so many flaws with it, and all this other crap. But in the very end of it, they have this scene with the turtles acting like the turtles, sitting there with their shells and their little weapons and whatnot, playing this kind of tune going up an elevator. And because of that, everything else is forgotten. Because at the very end of it, the turtles act a little bit like the turtles, and you have a decent closing scene.
Well, in terms of video games that were actually successful and based on movies, there was Mortal Kombat. Um,
Mortal Kombat had absolutely no plot to the game, though. So, I mean, adding any plot would be an improvement, arguably.
that is a good point.
But then again, it
So,
was also a fucking cheese fest and seemed to be aware that it was cheesy, so they weren't trying to be a serious movie either.
let's see. There was Prince of Persia.
I didn't see the movie on that one.
Laura Croft Tomb Raider.
Oh no.
Well, it was nice seeing Angelina Jolie in short shorts.
It was, but as a movie, it really wasn't much. But yeah, I mean, okay, if you were the one that played Tomb Raider, the original version, with a cheat code that had you playing her naked the entire way through, I can understand why you like the movie.
Let's see. How about Resident Evil Apocalypse?
That's the one with all the freaking crows and the clones, right?
I think.
Yeah, it was not a fan. Too many massive, massive plot holes in that.
Yeah, I think the only good one was the Mortal Kombat movie, and even that was just above mediocre.
Well, I mean, that's the thing is it was self-aware. It knew it was trying to be cheesy. It didn't necessarily have to make sense. The alternate problem, though, is that a lot of the ones that are based on video games, they rely so heavily on you knowing the game world that they don't bother to explain some things that they really need to. And this is where, like with Resident Evil and what have you, that some of these things might have probably could have used a little bit of explaining, because people other than the people that are fans of the video game might go to see it.
That might be.
And the case in point with this, I'm going to cite World of Warcraft, which cinematically wasn't that bad, I'd say. I don't think it was necessarily that bad, but the thing is, it wasn't based on World of Warcraft. The Warcraft movie was based upon the first two video games.
Mhm.
And well, a lot of things weren't necessarily explained well enough and this and that. If you'd played those two video games, you'd kind of get that connection and you could have some fun with it. But if you just were like a World of Warcraft player or something like this, you're gonna get a little confused. And if you haven't been exposed to any of them, then it's not gonna make any fucking sense whatsoever.
Yeah, I mean that's probably why I didn't see it, but I'll take your word that it was pretty good cinematically.
Wild Heart 666 wanted to get on your wall. Well, that you are. Yeah, I got like no viewers today anyway. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, I mean this is just for us to kill. This is us killing boredom.
Well, yeah, that in part. I mean, I was going to see if I could get some folks in here, but I don't know.
This is hilarious. Trump says Happy Hanukkah. White supremacists freak out.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why white supremacists started supporting a guy whose daughter was married to a Jew and who converted to Judaism herself.
I don't know how these like hyper America fuck yeah kind of patriots are supporting a person whose daughter vacationed with Putin's daughter, but I don't know.
Actually, a lot of the right wing has started to get on. It's funny. The right and the left in America has switched sides on Russia. Now, like back in 2008, Mitt Romney, this gun ho anti-Russian kind of candidate, and the Obama side was saying this is a man who's just fully entrenched in the Cold War. He's not getting over it. This is not the kind of person we should trust on foreign policy. And they switched sides. Now Obama's like, Russia's hacking the DNC and exposing our.
I think a lot of that stuff's horseshit anyway, but in my case, it's a Putin thing. It's not a Russia thing.
Point taken.
I mean, Putin and his stance on homosexuality and this kind of stuff, he's kind of a bigoted douche.
To say the least, yeah.
I mean, that's kind of the thing is it has nothing to do with Russia itself. It's all about Putin, Pooty Poot being a punky punk. I mean, here's a person that has their own, basket of civil rights abuses. But I don't know. There's a part of me that almost wonders if this is somehow linked to, how basically insane they are in terms of the whole gay thing. We don't like gays. He doesn't like gays. Therefore, he's our buddy. I don't know. I don't think that's it. But
Yeah, I mean, that was one part of it. Like, I think Trump just likes him because, hey, this is a military, this is a strong man who.
I think Trump likes him because he complimented Trump. I think that's all it takes.
No, that is actually a good point.
You just feed his ego and he likes you. Yeah.
Like, yeah, I mean, Trump's whole thing is, look, I never go after people. I'm a counterpuncher. I only go after people when they go after me. I'm not sure how true that is, but
This
like,
this whole he said good things about me, so I like him thing is like, oh, we are not going to be doing well in terms of the world stage, are we? If
yeah,
that's all it takes from another world leader, regardless of what they might be doing, is to, compliment Trump for them to be on the nice list instead of the naughty list.
yeah.
They've killed 10,000 Americans, but they said nice things about Trump.
Who knows? Maybe all Iran needs to do is say nice things, and they could keep their deal.
Yeah, I don't remember why Bush liked Trump. Or rather, sorry, that why Bush liked Putin, but he did actually seem to like him, and he nicknamed him Pooty Poot. Yeah, that was weird. It sounds
I
like
mean,
it so sounds like a lover's name. It's just, oh, you're my little Pooty Poot. What?
Bush had all these nicknames for world leaders that were just funny.
Childish as shit. Yeah, just weird. I never
Uh,
understood Bush.
I think like don't you Texans have like those hokey kind of guys who do that?
Not really.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, just no. Just not really, no. I mean, Texas is a fucking weird state, but at the same point, most Texans will not give pet names to other males.
Point taken.
And that's the thing is the other male aspect. It's like, wait a minute. Or at least nothing that you'd expect to hear behind closed doors, if you get my meaning.
I hear you.
Because between the whole, it's Pooty Poot, and him on the, what is it, him riding without the shirt and this and that, it's like, okay, yeah, someone's trying way too hard.
I mean, didn't he also give Angela Merkel like that the most cringiest back massage?
I didn't hear of this. Quite
Oh,
possibly, but I did not hear this. At least he didn't try to grab him by the pussy.
yep.
I don't know. I really think that whole thing, in terms of the Trump thing, was more bravado than anything else.
Yeah, here's a video where he gives her a slight back rub. It's only like 12 seconds, but
Actually, in terms of the weird Bush moments, I think the weirdest one was the recent one of that funeral when he's sitting there kind of swaying back and forth at a funeral trying to sing along. And it's like, dude, just no. Smiling and grinning and swaying. It's like, you have no idea where you are, Georgie, do you?
actually, you know what? I actually kind of liked Bush. I thought he was a funny idiot. I thought it was kind of like the idiot savant. Like he's like the world didn't really fall. The
Oh,
world didn't
hang
really.
on. Oh, wow, Blackfeather.
Oh, okay.
Hang on a second. Let's see if I can
Yeah.
cue this up right quick. Give me one moment here. Clear off my screen here.
Hey,
And let me
Christina.
grab that.
Hey guys.
Add screen cap. One moment here. The awkward massage.
Uh,
There we go. Let's pop this up in the main window for a second here. And rewind. There we go. No audio, but yeah, that's a little awkward. Don't touch me. Yeah, that's pretty
guys,
priceless. That's pretty priceless, I've got to admit. Okay, let's get the screen up here.
uh, I remember the Bush years. As a president, he always managed to entertain me. I know that's not what a president is supposed to do, but just saying that was nice. I mean, I think between Obama and Trump, it's not going to be a good 16 years.
I don't know. I think our basis of comparison may have been shifted a little bit because, I mean, Obama was kind of the cool president in a way. I mean, we had a little
Yeah.
bit of that with the first Clinton. He played the saxophone and this and that, but he was also a gullible hero worshiping little twit, too.
Yeah.
Also, Clinton didn't really know how to marry in.
Well, I don't know. The kind of part of the thing with Clinton, I don't know why you're showing up as fuck it. Anyway, one of the issues with Clinton, as far as I'm concerned, is that all it took was Church of Scientology descending on the White House with Tom Cruise and John Travolta, and that was their easy in to get him to talk Germany into allowing the cult in there to be considered a religion because he was
Yeah,
easily manipulated.
John. Oh God.
Because it's celebrities and they're coming to talk to me. It's come on, dude. You're the president of the fucking U.S. Let's not let yourself be taken in by hero worship or this shit like, they're a celebrity.
Yeah.
So, Christina, holy crap, it's been ages. How have you been?
I've been just been working my butt off, and then for the holidays I pretty much made like 15 gifts for family and patients, families and stuff like that. So I've been just crazy busy.
Did you dye your hair?
Huh?
Did you dye your hair?
No, it's just turning more gray because I haven't dyed it. I have
Oh.
not really had the time. So I'm 49, so the gray is moving in.
Well, if I remember correctly, I think you do a lot of nature worship, so the gray really complements it.
Yeah. It just, the problem is it tends to make me feel older than I should, because once I
Understandable.
dye it with that
Understandable.
burgundy, I end up looking like I've dropped 10 years off my age. So
Incidentally, did you hear? I don't know if you've been watching enough to hear the news, but yeah, I
yeah.
bought this.
Sweet.
That is the view outside the front door of the house I bought just on the 22nd.
Oh, cool. So you did get it. I was in
Oh
the
yeah.
one hang where you were, I think you were, trying to get the finishing financing or something on it. I was in the live chat,
Oh
but
no,
that
no,
was
no
about it.
financing. I fucking bought it, but
Oh,
I
sweet.
made a cash offer on the damn thing, and initially it didn't go through because they accepted a offer with financing, and I just waited a week for that bullshit to fall through because I knew it wasn't going to stick. They
Oh,
had a very
nice.
minor issue pertaining to the foundation that was just enough to keep them from getting financing.
That's cool.
And this thing had been on and off the market like 3, 4 times, and they'd reduced it, and I offered them basically, by the time I made my offer, it was like 40K under market value, 10K under their asking price. And they came back like a week later, like, yeah, it fell through. We'll take your offer. I'm like, hey, thank you.
Nice. That's really cool.
So yeah, we currently have they currently has a tenant, and we decided to honor their lease. So at the end of January, when their lease is up, we can start getting our shit moved, and then I can see about selling the current house, which I also own fully.
Sweet. Yeah, I'm still renting this one. My landlord moved to Texas, so I don't know how things are going to play out. I hope if he doesn't keep the house, we're hoping he'll do for a contract for deed on this one, because the thought of moving to North Carolina now after all the stupid crap going on over there, we really don't want to. I mean, I've got
What stupid crap has gone in Carolina?
regarding the LGBT community and stuff, I've got family that, I've got some that are transgender. I've got my daughter's lesbian. It's just all these stupid things that they've been doing over there. And then they're trying to pretty much force the Democrats from not having any decisions at all, and the gerrymandering. And I mean, just on and on and on.
Oh, I think I remember Samantha B talking about a bit of that. But regarding the bathroom thing, there is actually one thing about the law that enables transgender people to use the bathroom to the gender they wish to associate with. As
Yeah.
long as you do actually switch over officially your gender, and you can do that.
How?
Yeah.
I didn't know you could do that.
You can.
Hmm.
Like as long as you switch over, if you have it on your birth certificate, you could actually just show your birth certificate, and that would enable you to use the bathroom of your choice.
Yeah, because right now, I guess there's like one guy that's working at some building that they have. The people who own the building said he couldn't use the women's bathroom, even though he was born a woman, and the women there were like, it doesn't make them comfortable because he's a guy, and he's like, I'm not comfortable because I'm a guy. So the only unisex bathroom in the building, and he works on the 5th floor, is down in the basement.
But this is kind of the weird thing is that when lawmakers put this into place, they're not thinking is there are people that have gone through the transition that this person, although they were born a woman, now has a full beard and
Yeah.
of course this is going to be a little bit awkward.
Yeah.
It makes
So
more sense for people to just use the restroom that's more representative of their appearance if you're going to legislate it at all in that regard.
yeah.
Oh, so here it is. You
But
actually
then it
can.
becomes subjective.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So it's a really odd thing to deal with. I don't know. It's their craziness, but I don't really want to stay in Minnesota either, because I mean, it took me 10 minutes to get to my car last night because I'm having to hang on to the car to get around it because the ice is so darn bad. Um, when I'm saying it's colder than a witch's tit, and this witch's tits are pretty cold, yeah,
Fair, fair.
That is hilarious.
it's bad right now. I don't want to deal with it anymore. But and my parents are still alive and well and going strong, so the likelihood of me getting the horse farm, or even though they can't have horses on it anymore, it'd be
Rezoning?
10-20 years. Yeah, they rezoned everything out in that town where my parents are. So a place that was set up for 37 head of horses, once my mom's last horse dies, they can't have any more. It's ridiculous.
That kind of
So
sucks.
all right. So according to this article, in North Carolina, as soon as you go through some sexual reassignment surgery, you have a right to alter the gender you're associated with on your birth certificate. But you could also get a new birth certificate in various other states that don't require this. There's only 3 states in the union that don't have it. So if you were like Caitlyn Jenner and you wanted to go to a women's bathroom in North Carolina, you could do that. Just show them your birth certificate, and that's it.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. At least there's a workaround. But it's just the whole thing has been absolutely crazy, and then you get the Tumblr snowflakes in there, and
Yeah.
I'm sorry, my daughter is set on YouTube, so I can say it, that she identifies as agender. She doesn't identify as either. And I think there are people that, seriously, they do have issues where they don't, their brain does not connect with their body, and that's fine.
My daughter's recently changed what her association. She now associates her sexuality with an attack helicopter.
Yeah.
So I told her that I think that might be problematic because she doesn't really have the stressed amount of missiles or the machine gun. But if that's really what she wants, she can be an attack helicopter for all I care.
Yeah. But when they've got now like 78 genders identified or something like that, and it's I don't know.
Well, I mean, okay, when we went to school, and this doesn't apply so much to Epi, but you're an old folk like I am to a degree. So I mean, when we went to school, it wasn't even so much am I gay or am I straight. Everything was just assumed, and then things start changing, and the idea of sexuality starts becoming more socially acceptable. And then you have people wondering, am I straight or am I gay? Now it's like, what the fuck am I? There's so many choices.
Yeah.
So this whole thing of trying to figure out who you are in terms of that kind of landscape has just become so fucking complex these days. I feel bad for the kids.
Yeah, and that's part of it. It's I think a lot of these kids are like we were in high school. We had certain cliques we were trying to be part of, or trying to find our identities at the time and stuff. And it's just the identity seeking has changed.
Yeah.
As far as what they're looking for. Like you've got
it's not just who am I anymore, it's what am I now.
It's exactly it, where we used to have cliques like, okay, well, these people are into Doctor Who and this group is into this and that. Now we've got teens that are on TV that are saying that they're wolves, and it's
those
just
people, gosh, I forgot the name. Otherkin. I actually almost wish that I kept forgetting the name because good grief. I'm a dragon. No, you're an idiot.
Yeah, you're mixing up your animal totems and thinking that they're you. I think that's what it is, because I used to pretend I was a wolf and stuff like that. I used to go and kind of try to tie myself in with my totems a little bit, and
the New Agers with that shit,
that was a personal thing, but then I grew up with a tribal influence, so
the New Agers with this are even worse, though, because if you go back to like Native American tradition, for example, and you take the owl, for example, the owl does not represent wisdom. This is a Western thing.
Yeah, I still hearing an owl spooks me because I was raised with the thing that if you heard an owl hoot, that somebody's going to die within 3 days. And
Well,
you
those
know,
fucking owls haven't been silent at all in 2016, have they? The fuckers.
no, they haven't. I got today's news, and I'm just
Yeah.
Carrie Fisher. I have a little bit more of a special fondness with her because I was in the Star Wars fan club in high school right before Return of the Jedi was released. And I actually wrote Carrie and Harrison, and they both wrote me back and sent me signed photos and stuff.
That's
And
pretty cool.
unfortunately, all that's gotten lost somewhere in my ex-husband's storage. I never found it when I had to get out of the house fast when I got divorced. Because I was afraid of him and what he was going to do to me. So that stuff is still somewhere there, along with the military photos of my boyfriend who died in the Gulf War. So, but Carrie and Harrison took time. Harrison sent me like 4 different photos I had from Raiders with him with no shirt on. And I mean,
Okay, we know what this is all about now.
but Empire Strikes Back, it was the whole kissing scene between the two of them. It gave me the idea that romance was something that actually could happen. You know, it was that sense of fantasy for me. And I mean, yeah, I found it in real life finally, you know, but that idea never died because of them two. And the fact that they take time for their fans.
Yeah.
Is, you know,
It's something you just don't see these days, really.
Yeah, exactly. And so that's kind of the hard part for me. Like, even George Michael, you know, he wasn't that much older than me. He was only, you know, well, 4 years older than me. And I had the biggest crush on him in high school. And even in college, I had a life-size poster of him on my door from the album Faith. And my mother'd walk by, take that gay guy off your door. And it's like, no, I'm not. He's staying right there. And I didn't, you know, it didn't care. It was just, you know.
Do you think he might have been the origin point of women being attracted to gay males, though?
He might have been.
I don't know. Maybe it's the butt. I don't know.
I've actually never listened to too much George Michael's myself, but
oh, come on, Max! You got to have faith.
That one I'm aware of only because Limp Bizkit covered it, and yeah, that's actually to my shame. I know about Limp Bizkit. But go on, Christina. Sorry to interrupt.
No, that's fine. I just, you know, I really hope that the next Deadpool movie, that Deadpool has a tribute to George Michael in there, you know, because Deadpool's a big George Michael fan and Wham, so that would be kind of cool.
Yeah. I'm actually wondering what they're going to do with the next Deadpool movie, because there's been some weird shenanigans. But was the producer or director of the first one isn't involved in the second one because there was a fight between him and Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
Because Ryan Reynolds' idea is that we should reject most of the funding for it because that's what made it successful, is that we had to work within this narrow budget. And it's like, okay, well, take the fucking money and work within the narrow budget. If you have some left over, oh, fucking well, you know?
Exactly. Yeah.
Oops. And we have Mindy. Let's see now. Let me grab that.
Mindy!
Oops. Ah, crap. I deleted the wrong slide. Damn it. I hate when I do that. Let me fix that shit. Had that thing set right, too. Oh, well. Let's see now. Hey, Mindy. We are on air. How you doing?
I'm good. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yep.
I just got a new headset, trying it out.
I stole hubby's headset right now, so.
How are you, Christina?
I'm good. I'm just, the holidays are winding down finally. I did needle felted figures. I made jewelry. I was making Yule gifts like crazy. So any free time I had, I was in the craft room. So no Minecraft, no nothing.
Yeah, my wife's crafty too, so. Wait,
Yeah.
that didn't come across quite right.
I was doing that as well. I did scarves and sweaters
Oh wow.
and crocheted baby blankets. And yeah, so it was a long few days.
Yeah, it's been. I started making gifts back in June though, so it's like I've been at it a while. It just was crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to do that next year.
I found usually people just go on internet and just shop online these days.
You're a little echoey, Mindy.
Me?
Yeah.
I don't know how to fix that.
You may have to adjust your mic position or something in relation to your speakers.
Well, it's a headset, so it's got a jaw mic, and
That's weird then. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, the feedback isn't all too bad.
Yeah, I'm not feedbacking, so
There we go. So let's get to, there we go. Realigned. Okay, got it. That'll do.
is that any better?
Testing 1, 2.
Yeah,
it's
that is definitely better. I think it was just
Yeah.
proximity to your head, your thing. I don't know.
Yeah, I switched to my webcam mic.
That's interesting.
So usually it
weird.
happens the other way.
Yeah, I don't know. Confusing.
What I was saying is a lot of people save time shopping by just doing all of it online and waiting for the gifts to come in.
yeah, we did some of that, but yeah, it was. I just had it in my head that I was going to do these gifts, and so yeah. And I got the illustrations for the children's book finally finished, and I mean, it's been a crazy year.
I don't know. There is something, and it's kind of weird, because people kind of turn their nose up at homemade gifts and this kind of stuff. But there really is something about that. I actually made my daughter a necklace this Christmas.
Oh,
We went to a place that's nearby that's called Rock Barrel, and they have all kinds of different stuff there. And one thing that we happened to notice was this little pendant that it had a smiley face on it. And my wife looks down and says, "Oh, this is so cute." Actually, sorry, it had a frowny face on the side that was facing upward at least. And my wife looks at it and says, "Oh, a frowny face. We should get this for your daughter." And I turned it over. I'm like, "Oh, a happy face on the other side." It's kind of a mood thing. So what I ended up doing is I ended up getting it, and I made a necklace to go with it, with a magnetic clasp, so she can kind of flip it around depending on her mood.
Nice.
So people get forewarned.
yeah.
Some of the presents I actually bought were just from me cruising around downtown and finding things I thought my family would like. My dad really likes 80s and 90s action movies, and I was able to find a full box set of Lethal Weapon movies.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
Yeah.
My dad quite enjoys musicals and things like that, so I got him Scrooge, which is a version of the Christmas Carol.
Yeah.
And it's like musical. So it's he quite liked that. And then I got him tickets to see his family in Montreal.
Oh wow, nice.
That is such a cool present.
Get the screen done right this time. There we go. That's better. Aha.
Yeah. My brother's actually got me a couple of really nice books that I'm happy with. One is a book on Greek mythology, and the other is a book on the nature of evil, written by Thomas Aquinas.
Nice.
I read The Nature of Evil, and I did my university socialist thesis comparing that book with the teachings of Charles Manson.
Oh, wow.
Because Charles Manson bastardized the teachings of St. Thomas Aquinas to his followers in order to brainwash them to follow what he was saying.
Oh wow.
Wow, I did not even know that.
Most people don't realize it, and I studied him as a sociology project because my initial project that I did was I took 5 famous serial killers and I tracked their lives from childhood up until adulthood to find out where on the path that they veered off.
Effie, I should
From-
make you read this one.
The Passover plot. What's that one about?
It's basically another hypothesis pertaining to, and hypothesis I use kind of loosely in terms of the events at the end of the Testament. Basically, it promotes the idea that Judas was kind of in on it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So, how did Manson bastardize Thomas's teachings? I know Thomas teaches that evil is not an entity, but rather a pervasion in created things. So, how would Manson bastardize that, for instance?
What he ended up doing was he took the predominantly the teachings where St. Thomas deals with the earth, like, living in community with the earth and the animals and praising God for that type of thing. And then Charles Manson came in and took that teaching, added acid and drugs to it, and then made it like, oh, philosophical, man. And basically he turned it into, we can live in harmony with nature in this, but these people are secretly devils.
Yeah.
And we learn this because of the Beatles and because of the teachings of St. Thomas. We have been able to find the evil people in society, and now here we are going to go kill them so we can have our utopia.
But I mean, this is the thing is, whenever you're dealing with some kind of like cult or something like that, you don't start off with crazy shit. You bring that in later after you have your
Yes.
following.
And they actually have said that he didn't do any drugs. Like when he was getting into their heads and things like that, he was giving them drugs, but he would stay sober so he could control their high.
Yeah, that sounds like
At that
something
point, it's
to
kind of
do.
becoming a guided meditation at that point.
Yeah.
By the way, here's something I learned actually from the mythology book. Do you know those stories? So Zeus is considered to be the mightiest of all the Olympians, and in fact, he is stated to be stronger than the rest of them put together. But he always has to hide behind Hera's back and cover up all his romantic affairs by lying or deceiving her to get around it. So why the disconnect? Apparently, a lot of Zeus's affairs resulted because when his reputation and worship and cult spread across the Mediterranean, what happened was in other villages they already had supreme gods. So when they merged him and that prior god, he also had to merge those stories together, and that's why Zeus was constantly having to deceive Hera.
Well, I mean, this is kind of the thing, you know? I mean, even if you're a god, you still have to either figure out how to keep it in your pants or keep it away from the wife, because she's the one that sleeps next to you, and all it takes is a good night while you're asleep.
Yeah.
It's my story, and I'm sticking with it.
I think that's a good synopsis of it, though.
Yeah. It could be worse. At least she wasn't married to Pan.
Oh man, yeah.
Here it is. The wife of the early god was transferred to Zeus. The result, however, was unfortunate, and later Greeks did not like these endless love affairs. Still, even in the earliest record, Zeus had grandeur. In the Iliad, Amagon praised Zeus, most glorious, most great, god of the storm cloud. Thou dwellest in heaven. He demanded too not only sacrifices for men, but right actions. The Greek army at Troy is told Father Zeus never helps liars or those who break their oaths. The two ideas of him, the low and the high, persisted side by side for a long time. So this is why you had kind of these Zeus is all great stories that persisted alongside of the Zeus turns into a dolphin and sticks his dick where it doesn't belong. Not dolphin, swamp. Although maybe dolphins, we never get the full picture of his life.
This is why so many guys like Zeus, you know?
Yeah. He didn't care.
Freak on.
Yeah, the dolphins are hung, man. Oh, wait, that's not what you were saying. Never mind.
Zeus never helps liars, but he will have sex with women of quite a lot, and in the form of many animals.
If he
Yeah.
had it as a pig, he'd have a 30-minute orgasm.
Okay, now let's just say for a moment that you wake up tomorrow and you have your mutant power and you're a shapeshifter. How much advantage are you going to take of that shit?
Oh man.
Oh, so much.
I would have fun with that.
Oh yeah.
So,
I-
Zeus is kind of that nature of us, in a manner of speaking.
Yeah. Oh, that would be cool though.
Oh, apparently Zeus married his sister. Damn.
Yeah, most of the gods married like incestuously.
Well, considering that they killed off they were born of the Titans, and then they were all that existed for a while, you'd kind of expect that, Brian.
Yep.
It's not like they're going to start acknowledging other pantheons and going into them to marry. Think of Cain and
Yeah.
Abel. Who the fuck did they marry?
Point
Yeah.
taken.
Well, Cain kind of killed Abel, and then Cain went
You
to
get
the
what
land
I'm
of
saying,
Nod,
sorry. Yeah,
and
but
he met Lilith.
well,
That's
it's more a matter of who it was out there for Cain to actually get married to and have his own civilization with their. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, that was a brain fart on my part. Acknowledged.
That's okay. If Cain hadn't killed Abel, maybe they would have gotten married.
Oh yeah. I don't know about that. Maybe God would have paraded the animals in front of them to see if they could have found a helpmeet among them.
I'm bad.
Would have gotten gay marriage legalized in the U.S. a lot faster.
Oh, not necessarily. Here's the thing, though, because as I said, God might have just paraded the animals in front of them and decided whether they needed a helpmeet or not.
No, then bestiality would be
Yeah.
the rule of the day.
But I mean, this is the funny thing about it. It's like, how can people read this and not think it's tongue in cheek?
I don't
Like,
get it.
stupid.
There's so many just so stories in the Bible, trying to explain why the world was the way the world was. And people are so hung up on taking it literal, I just don't understand it.
I mean, the thing is, you look at that story through the right lens, and it's actually really funny. I mean, legitimately humorous, but these people just suck the life out of the text.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's like when. I mean, if you take the Bible literally, the square then pi is like just 3, not even 3.14, so forth. Yeah, you don't see anyone. You don't see literalists demanding we take that literally. They
Except for Ronnie.
Except for Ronnie, I was gonna bring that up, and
this is how you get labeled a moron.
yep. He's, in some context, pi is just 3. No, it's not. There's no. The only context you have, like, I actually brought this up. Like, the reason people said it was 3 is because Babylonians rounded it down to 3, and that's usually where the Hebrews got some of their mathematical annotations. But when I brought that up, Steven actually flipped on me. Like, did Steve McRae send you in here to tell us that? Did he, Max?
Yeah. Like, you can't think for yourself,
Hi, I've taken math classes too. What the fuck? Oi.
My answer was a lot better than his, though. His answer was pi is 3. My answer was they just rounded it down.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, even then, I mean, you look at the nations that were around them. It took a while for them to work out pi. I think it was Samaria. It was 3. They actually got it to, like, I think it was like 3.15 or something like that. In Babylon, it was 3.14. Eventually, they figured it out.
Yeah.
But yeah, and in the different cultures, it varied until they finally got their shit figured the fuck out. And now I have to let the dogs out. Go on, you little shithead. Can't wait till I move into the new house and we have a dog door.
That'll be cool.
Yeah, they have a dog door built into the freaking wall. I love it.
I am being summoned. I will be right back.
Okay.
Yoink.
Here's Oh shit! Here's an interesting story. Apparently, some guy's dad bought him like a crate of 55 DVDs containing hentai because he thought it was anime.
Oh,
Oh,
Oh, that's terrible.
oh, that's just awful.
I mean, there's one.
have
I
you
mean,
seen hentai? Yes, it is awful.
like
Yeah.
you can
Oh
tell
my
by some of
God.
the titles. Like I'm seeing a picture of the box, and you can tell by some of the titles this should be considered pornography. I mean, one of the titles is Night Shift Nurses.
Oh, okay. Here's the problem.
No, I don't do that. I don't do that.
Here's the problem though, is that a lot of Americans will look at it and say, "Oh, it's a cartoon,"
Yeah.
and
Oh
the
my
thought process
God.
ends there. Why bother to think or read or investigate? No. Just stop it. Oh, look, it's cartoons. Clearly, it must be for kids. No, no.
Yep. That is. Yeah, that is my dad's opinion. Oh, you're watching cartoons. You're such a kid. I'm like, Dad, they're actually swearing and killing one another. I don't think this is intended for children.
Has your
No.
dad ever seen Cool World?
No.
Introduce him to Cool World, not heavy metal per se, but Cool World at least, and that's an R-rated cartoon that's more
I mean,
Americanized.
even now you have cartoons like Family Guy, which are definitely not
Yeah.
intended for children.
Yeah.
Or not only that, but Archer, for example, is another one. Like, there's a lot of adult themes in that show.
Don't know that. Oh, yeah. Hmm. There we go. Bug the Kikitoites and see if any of them are freaking paying attention.
The, the who?
Kikitoites.
What are those?
The Drunk Bears and the Kikitoites, the two Skype groups.
Oh, I
Ah.
see.
Trying to bug them, see if any of them are around. It's, let's see now, West Coast would have it at what, 4 o'clock? Oh, about. I mean, this is kind of a really fucking weird hour, but at least I got some folks in here. And Christina, oh my God, it is so good to see you.
Oh, I'm
You've been
glad to be
missing
back.
every fucking hangout.
I know, because you usually have them and I'm either getting ready for work or I'm at work.
I know shit, yeah.
I work the inconvenient hours, that's for sure.
Must be
No.
very sexy being a night shift nurse.
Oh, yeah, just,
It's
yeah.
what?
I'm joking because one of the hentai that was titled Night Shift Nurses,
Yeah.
and Christina was like, "I don't do that at all."
Yeah.
Just poking fun at that.
I'm a pediatric nurse, so I better not.
Yeah, no shit. Holy crap.
Ew, no.
There's another one called Mom G. I'm not even sure what that's supposed to mean.
I'm waiting to unleash a weapon on YouTube at some point.
What?
Hang on, let me see if I can pop it up here. I'll actually just give you the link. As I'm not playing it on air at this. Well, actually, I might play it on air, but I can't stream it through both at the moment. So give me a second here. Let's see now. There we go. Open YouTube under the main account. Go the fuck to Creator Studio. This is a great theater, isn't it? There we go. Unlisted videos. Let's see now. My secret weapons. My secret stash of crap. Where is it? There it is. Okay. Let me grab that up, and it's muted already. Good. And copy, and here you go. Click that link.
What's this link?
You've seen it already, have you? I had to explain to you who the fuck it was.
Oh, okay.
She should know. If she doesn't know, I'll be greatly disappointed.
If it comes up. Did you share it through G Plus or?
Oh, it's inside it's in the hang. Are you on your phone or something?
I'm on my computer, but I.
Can you click the little chat thing on the side to get the bar to pop up?
What that is?
Yeah.
Yeah, the chat bar's popped up, but. Oh, wait a minute. What is this? Okay, I see.
There we go. Okay.
This is pretty new to me. Oh, Voltaire! Ah, yes. Love it. He's awesome.
Yep. We went to see one of his shows. It was actually the steampunk weekend kind of thing, and we went to see
Oh,
the show. And I got him to record that soundbite for me. I'm just waiting for a good reason to use it.
I'll play it later, but that's cool. That is really cool. Yeah, I hardly use the video chat on my computer because most of the time, I have only my tablet handy or something. So this is, I'm still learning what to click where and all of that.
Voltaire's a really weird guy. I love him. He's great.
Oh, he's awesome.
He's sitting there at his concert and he's talking about the stuff that if you want to buy something, yada yada yada, because his whole thing was he's going on this tour to raise money for his kids' college tuition.
Funny.
And some of the stuff he was selling was a little bit surprising. He was selling matchboxes that he had custom made.
That's cool though.
Yeah. Well, actually, it's more so technically custom paint job that he had done from a distributor in China, but it's still kind of cool.
Yeah.
But, so he's listing those and a few other things, and we got a poster from my daughter, and she's absolutely in love with it because she is my little demon slayer.
Is it a Demon Slayer poster, I take it?
No. Voltaire sings a song called "Good Night, Demon Slayer,"
Oh, I see.
and
cool.
I kind of raised my daughter on it because she grew up with night terrors, so I'd play that for her when she was going to sleep. And I mentioned that to him, and he's like, "Actually, I wrote that for my son for the same kind of reason."
Oh, neat. That's a good song too, though.
Yeah.
I like his. I think I don't remember which album it is. It's got like "Hate Lives in a Small Town" and it's all
Yeah.
Western, country Western style music. And my husband's got that one, and it's just fun to listen to.
He has a newer one that's entirely sci-fi related, and we got that. And there's one that's a love song between a stormtrooper and a red shirt that's kind of cute.
Oh no.
But also, it does have a Dirty Doctor Who song on there, and it's funny because he's apparently not a fan.
Oh, that's
He
cool.
got all of his information from fans writing to him about, oh, well, you should do this and you should do that, and he kind of compiled it together and learned a little bit about it. But he's not a
Neat.
Whovian.
Neither am I to a good extent. I've only watched 3 seasons. Didn't really hook me.
I grew up on the classic stuff, the deliberately
Yeah.
cheesy and what have you. I mean, I've gotten in weird arguments with Lenny about it because he thinks Doctor Who's terrible because he just doesn't get it. It's supposed to be self-aware and cheesy, but he's like, oh well, but it tries to get so serious, and I'm like, no, the seriousness is just kind of an aside. It's the cheese that it's really about.
Yeah, I'm gonna get something really quick to show you guys that another nurse made for me.
But then again, he didn't understand Firefly either, so.
Heretic.
Well, yeah, with Firefly, it's a Western in space. And he just didn't get that. It's a fucking Western. It just happens to be in a sci-fi space setting.
Just like how Star Wars is a fantasy.
Yeah.
It's a fantasy, except in space.
But yeah, he just.
Okay, let's see if these show up.
Oh, Doctor Who slippers. That's cute.
They're my gloves.
Oh, Doctor Who gloves.
And then she knitted me a matching scarf with the original, the Tom Baker logo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You got to go Tom Baker if you're going with a scarf. That thing was how many feet long? What, like 30 feet or something?
There was one that was 9. The original version was 17, and then I think the last one was like 29.
Yeah, it was absurd anyway around it.
What happened is they wanted the character to have a scarf, so they gave the one costume person all this different varieties of yarn and said make a scarf using this yarn. Well, she thought that they meant use all of it.
Yeah,
and that became a thing. So,
but it's in terms of different elements to introduce to a character, kind of made sense because that was plenty enough if you needed to scale a building or something.
Yeah. That was I like the Tom Baker days, although Chris, I think out of the modern doctors was my favorite as well.
But Leather Coat Doctor Who?
Yeah,
I didn't like him actually.
I
Yes.
liked the intensity of the way he portrayed the character.
Was he the season 7 Doctor?
He was
Yeah,
too much of a divergence from the classic character. I mean, he didn't. There was the fun wasn't there. He was too busy trying to be intense. And
David
that's I
yeah,
think.
Tennant David Tennant did a good job of balancing. Did a good job of getting to the relaxed and serious too.
yeah.
Yeah, he did a good job with it, but at the same point, the way that they wrote him was a little bit more emo than I'm. Yeah, it was a little odd to me at times.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, I didn't mind Tennant too much. I didn't like the direction they took the Doctor himself. It's like all of a sudden he's got all these female companions, one after the other, and he's they
now
kind of portrayed him more as a bit of a horn dog, so to speak, and I didn't like it.
I'll be honest with you. That was the one thing that got me coming back. Plus, I thought Martha was pretty hot.
Oh wow, really? I thought it would have been the scene in which he ended up smooching briefly with Jack Harkness.
Nope.
I missed that one.
Oh, it was more so Jack.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, it was that what was it? Children of whatever the heck crossover thing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
If I remember correctly, he gives him a smooch in that one, and the doctor's like, "What?"
Yeah, the one that kind of got me to stop watching the more modern doctors though was when they separated him with Rose. And I did watch when they brought Sarah Jane back, but he
Well, they
just
really
kind of,
brought her back for the special event season finale.
yeah, but the way they did the treatment with Rose afterwards, and it was like he just kind of totally forgot about her after, the big dramatic thing. And I was disappointed after that and stopped watching. And I haven't watched
Hmm.
since. I don't
Well,
know.
they did a fairly respectful job by the time they completed that arc, though. What happened was you end up after the big season finale, which brought together Torchwood and what Sarah. It basically brings together all the old characters and all the new
Yeah.
ones that they've introduced, throws them all together along with basically you have all these different groups that are all coordinating, trying to and helping with them to try to defeat the Daleks. And Rose actually comes back with a little bit of dimensional travel, and at the end of the arc, there's two copies of the Doctor because of a fuck up with the regeneration process, because he still has the hand that Jack Harkness had retrieved after it had been cut off, and that hand regenerates into another copy of him. So you have,
Huh.
and that one copy of him is basically the one that Rose had fallen in love with before he'd gone through all the additional changes after that. So the copy that they leave with Rose is the one that was him at that time period when she'd fallen for him.
Oh.
So they actually did a fairly respectful job with that at the end.
Oh, maybe I'll have to pick up and start watching it again then.
I don't know. You may or may not like it, but I mean, I kind of see what you're doing. They really went heavily on the Doctor needs a companion kind of thing to kind of balance his nature, and I've never necessarily agreed with that. He's always needed somebody there to be the person that everything needs to be fucking explained to for the sake of the audience, but I don't think he
Yeah.
needs a companion. I've always thought that was kind of crap.
Yeah. Well, I still like I think my favorite companion, and maybe it was because that was just me and growing up with the Native American people that came to the horse farm all the time and everything, was Leela.
Oh
The
yeah,
one that was on that one planet, and she, she wouldn't hesitate to beat
she was
somebody
pretty
up.
kick-ass. Yeah.
I loved her. My two childhood idols, her and Wonder Woman.
Yeah, I mean, she was one of the first strong female characters that was allowed in
Yeah.
fiction.
Yeah, I really liked her. She was a big influence for me.
And there's the dog scratching at the door. Okay. I was wondering how long they were going to be out there. Usually not very. There are some days that they're like, we want to go out, we want to go out. 2 minutes later, we want in, we want in. It's like, come make up your minds.
What are you, two cats or what?
Well, okay, part of it is that the neighbor got a dog. So she likes going out to say hi to the neighbor's dog, and he doesn't like him. So he'll go out there to bark at him.
Oh,
So he'll go out and start barking at him immediately and get in trouble and end up right back in. And she's like, I want to go out and play. And I'm like, nope, sorry, he ruined it for you. But other times they'll be like, I want to go out. And they'll go out and he's not there. And she's like, I want to come in. Like, for crying out loud. That's one thing. It's like, when we move into the new house, in addition to the dog door, we're not going to have that dog next door anymore. Which, and this is part of why he goes nuts, is that the neighbor's dog will sometimes jump our fence and end up in our backyard.
and
he'll be hanging out there, and that drives Boris absolutely off his fucking rocker. Drives him insane. He's like, get out of my yard. This is my yard. Little punk.
that's too funny. I have, like tonight, one case I go to, they have this huge golden doodle. And last night, he was plastered against my leg for a large part of the night. It was just like, he is so in love with me, and he had to be resigned to his kennel for a couple weeks at night so he wouldn't bark when the nurses would show up. So he didn't get to see me for a while. So boy, he was clingy. I just love it.
My last dog was very, I don't want to say skittish, because that gives the wrong air, because he wasn't actually skittish. He was just leery of new people, generally speaking.
Yeah.
It took him a while to get used to a person normally. But then there was my wife, and I kind of told her how butchy he was, and the way that he behaved around people and this kind of stuff. So the first time she comes over to see me at the apartment I was living in at the time, he goes running up to her truck and just goes up there and is all head in the window to be petted on. And I'm looking at him like, what is wrong with my dog?
My ex-husband had bought a Chesapeake Bay Retriever before we got married. And she ended up being 92 pounds. She was a big dog and not fat. She just was big. And when I moved in with him, she was really perturbed because even though she knew me, I was infringing on her territory. So when I started unpacking my stuff, she chewed the brim off of one of my cowboy hats. She ate my show belt, because I had a specific tooled belt for my riding costume and had my satellite dish on it and stuff. She ate the leather. The last straw was when she peed on my side of the bed.
Yeah.
I rolled her over and laid down on top of her belly and got my hands around her throat and growled. And she figured out I was alpha. Well, then at that point, once I got pregnant, then she became very protective of me. And he spent a lot of time training her for hunting and stuff. I spent a lot of time just training her because I took her out for walks all the time and stuff. So he'd get irritated because I taught her to lead on my right side, which is not what you do with dogs, I guess, but you do it with horses. And so that's what I knew. And she'd hold the leash in her mouth and just stay right at my side. She was a dog that never pulled or anything. And she was very, very protective of me, very good with any neighbor kids that are around, which is kind of difficult for Chesapeakes. But he really got irritated because she became my dog.
Yeah, I can kind of understand that to a degree. I mean, I was, when I got divorced from the ex-wife, there was a little bit of an argument over the dog, and it was settled pretty quick because he's my dog.
Yeah.
I trained him, and I trained him really well, and he honestly didn't like her. And she's like, oh, he likes me. He's smiling at me. I'm like, no, he's not. That is not a smile.
Yeah.
But what my current wife though, when he met her, I mean, it was immediately he was just like, oh, and she thought I was lying about what kind of dog he was because he just warmed up to her immediately, and I still can't explain that one. But
Yeah,
apparently, dogs just like her. There's something about her. I don't know.
I run into that dogs everywhere just go crazy over me. It's fun. My neighbor, the neighbor behind me in the alley has 6 Pomeranians. And they just see me across the street and they start going crazy. And then I have to come over and visit them. And I have pommies all over me at that point. They just go nuts. And she said, I'm the only person that they react that way to, that isn't part of the household.
My only guess is that it has to be scent based somehow
Is
or something.
something. That and they know I just think they're cute.
Hey, Fizzy,
Hey, what's up?
how you doing, man?
How's it going, Big
You
Fizz?
don't want to know.
Hi.
Hey,
Take your word on
Christina,
Think it's still about the same.
man. Worse.
Oh, lovely.
I
Yeah,
won't go into details.
I'll ask at some point when we're not on air, potentially.
Yeah,
But yeah. Okay.
yeah. Just know I'm safe. I'm alive. I just popped in to say hey.
Hey.
How long I'll be safe and alive is questionable, but I am for now.
Okay, I'm not sure who this is, so let's bounce screens here. Give him a shot.
No
Wow,
penis,
that-
no penis, no penis, no penis. Okay, there doesn't seem to be a penis, so we're
Yeah.
good.
I've
So
switched.
what we talking about?
Okay, I guess we have a 15-year-old.
About what it sounds like. How are you doing today?
Doing good?
How about school?
It's Christmas break, stupid.
No, I think he means in general, not just today.
Suck my willy.
And ejected. There we go. That was easy
And
enough.
bye-bye.
Okay, there we go.
I got the
And
proper
I get to
response.
disappoint them with the fact that they can't snipe this hangout. Anyway,
Nice.
Wait, they were going to snipe the hangout?
I don't know whether they were going to or not. It doesn't really matter. But these hangouts do not create an external chat, so you can't actually snipe them.
Well, there goes my plans.
Actually, that was the fun part when Beasley was trying to come into Shuffles a while ago, and he got really upset. He's like, "Where's the external chat?" I'm like, "There isn't one, you moron."
Nice.
Yeah,
do me a
Beasley
favor.
was
Do me a favor,
interesting.
13. Let Jordy and all them guys know I'm alive and kicking, and I'll get
I
in
will.
touch with
I
them
will let
soon.
them know that you still exist. Don't worry about that, man.
And I'll check out. See y'all later.
Take care. Man.
Bye.
You know,
Let's go to Trump.
by the way, I should say, while I'm against disciplinary action like spanking, whenever I actually meet 15-year-olds, I'm like, why am I against it again? Like,
A certain Looney Tunes commercial comes to mind. True
Thankfully.
Jordan Cage. I don't think that I know you either. Well, shall we play with some trolls?
Oh, yeah.
and a
Okay.
troll playing a we shall play.
Okay. Sounds like fun. Jordan Cage, hello. And gone.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, since they've technically been invited, they could pop back in, so we'll wait a moment.
Now we play the waiting game.
Actually, let's turn off bandwidth for a moment, better yet, and then I can switch back to the other window. There we go.
And the waiting game sucks. Let's play Hungry Hungry Hippos.
Oh, that is the worst fucking game ever. The amount of noise that goddamn thing makes is just atrocious.
Oh, yeah.
And the mess sometimes you have to clean up after.
It's more so that this is one of those things that parents get for other parents that they hate
Yes.
for their kids. You know, it's like that stupid, what is it? It's supposed to be a vacuum or lawnmower, whatever, with a poppy ball thing.
Yeah.
That's just a way to try to torture other people. It's atrocious.
You know what? I'm going to remember that for the parents I hate when I run into them.
Telling you,
Yes.
it's a thing. It's horrible. That thing is just the loudest, most obnoxious thing. Ugh. Yeah. There's a lot of things like that, though. I mean, I remember that, let's see now, it was years ago and my daughter was real young. Her grandmother got her an Easy Bake Oven. She apparently got it at some kind of yard sale. It didn't have the bulb in it, didn't have any of the stuff. And of course, immediately my daughter's like, oh, I want to make something. It's like, yeah, good luck, kid.
Yeah.
Your grandmother's a moron.
There's a reason it was at the yard sale.
You got that right. That and it's not a normal bulb, it's a special bulb in there, and anything you cook in those things is atrocious anyway, generally speaking. But I don't know. I've been told that they have better stuff for some of the newer ones, but I kind of doubt it.
Yeah, and then they also came up with a newer set for teaching baking using a real oven. And it's simple recipes and mixes that they have, but it's fairly new where they're having the kids learn how to handle the real oven with a parent, but actually learning how to bake, which I think is a lot better.
Hmm.
I am going to teach my kid how to bake the shit out of things.
Bake the shit out of things. You're not supposed to have shit as part of the ingredients list, man. What's the
Yeah,
matter with you?
ew.
I meant in the sense of them baking a lot.
We knew what you meant.
I know, I'm just playing straight for comic effect.
My husband does not understand how it is. I cook and I remember flavors and I can make up my own recipes. And he's like, you really need to get on one of Gordon Ramsay's shows or something, but I can't bake.
Mm.
It's one thing to cook, like off the top of your head or to gather a recipe from all these flavors.
Hell, my wife can only bake.
It's another thing to do all of that while an angry British guy screams at you.
Yes.
There is that, yeah.
Although I'd be sitting there going and drooling and going, you're Gordon Ramsay. Yeah.
I know who the fuck I am, now bake!
Pretty much.
I'd be fanning myself, I am baking.
Oh. Okay, yeah, that's a thing. Hey, Fabio.
Hey.
I'm gonna have to stop picking on you about the whole Tuscany birds thing.
The Tuscany what?
The whole thing with Tuscany and the birds and all this stuff. I'm gonna have to stop picking on you about it. Because I just bought, well, hang on, let me turn on my bandwidth for one moment here. Sorry about that. I just bought this. This is the view out the front door of the house I just bought last week.
Nice.
I'm so jealous.
Nice.
Yeah.
No, it's a good thing that it's quite cold right now, so there are not too many birds around the side. So yeah, there is that. So
there we go. So how you been doing, man? It's been a while.
Been doing okay. Yeah, it's been quite some time. Yeah, right.
2016 is like murdering everyone, but
yeah.
There is the funny thing that the amount of fuck that I give to the people which died is directly proportional to the amount of posts that follow G+.
I don't know, Carrie Fisher today, man.
Yeah, no, I really don't care that much. I mean, she made a couple of good movies, yeah, right. But I mean, I honestly, I was quite astonished she was still alive. Mm. If you read Wired. It was quite a miracle that she was still alive. She took as many drugs and probably more as John Belushi and Dan Aykroyd combined. So yeah, good for her. She made it to 60. Yeah, she was supposed to be dead 30 years ago.
Well, we'll still, dead or alive, we'll still have what truly matters. The image of her in a metal bikini.
Yes.
Yes.
No, don't get me wrong. It's not that I'm sorry that she died, but it's not really. To me, it's not that pop icon that it seems to be that everybody.
It's not. No, it's certainly not.
Jesus. It's like who's the other singer which died yesterday?
George Michael.
George Michael.
Yeah. Okay. Honestly, I couldn't care less. I mean, again, I'm sorry he died, but I didn't like his music. I didn't like him. So
Oh,
yeah.
there was one person that died in 2016 that we both know that's not a celebrity, though.
Oh, but I mean, I was quite more sorry that Buzz Aldrin died, for example.
Did you hear about IG?
Who?
Yeah.
Inventor
Oh,
Gorilla,
yeah.
Christian IG.
Yeah. I didn't know him too much, so yeah.
But yeah, that was much more significant to me than any others. More so because we were in a hangout with him that night until like 3 a.m. and then the next morning it's like, oh, he's dead. What?
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
That was some fucked up shit. I mean, we're just up there bullshitting until like 3 a.m. and then he just never woke up the next morning. It was bizarre. There were no indicators, no nothing. He was just concerned about writing a letter to his boss because there'd been some argument at work between him and one of his coworkers, and he wanted to make sure his boss didn't have an issue. And we were talking to him about that 1 minute, and the next minute just gone. Weird.
What was that alleged quote attributed to Voltaire? God is a comedian playing to an audience too scared to laugh.
Yeah, that's a Christians. The Jews know how to laugh at the text.
Well, to be fair, Voltaire is more of a. I think he was a deist. Actually, that wasn't even his quote. Someone just attributed it to him, but it's a nice quote. I like it.
Has Italy stopped trying to tear itself apart, or?
No, I have no idea what you mean.
There were earthquakes and all that shit, weren't there, earlier in the year?
Oh, earthquakes,
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, there was a big one.
Yeah.
Then some other, they follow. They come in swarms. So,
Aftershocks and all that, yeah.
Mm-hmm. No, the situation is quite okay. I mean,
yeah,
it's a bummer because it's cold over there. So
every time I heard about one of the earthquakes, though, I was checking the map and like, nope, not near Tuscany. We're good.
No. I mean, yeah, the last one was we had one 2 or 3 days ago. It wasn't far from where I live.
I didn't hear about that one.
Yeah, it was very very low one. But...
Yeah, Americans only care if it's past 4.
Yeah,
or at least that's my guess.
3.82, but yeah, stuff like that.
I don't know. I think we had our own major earthquake. It's called the Trump election.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was funny as shit. I mean, it's still funny as shit.
It's like electing Brett Keane. I mean, what the fuck?
Yeah, the guy's so obnoxious. I've never liked Trump ever. And he's just so obnoxious and so trailer trash.
Trailer trash. That's great. I love it.
Oh, have you read the Czech papers?
No.
Okay. Let me see if I can find the news. Because, hold on a second. Just keep talking. I'll find them.
To be fair, I think the only reason he won was he really didn't have too much in terms of competition. That and
Hillary being a train wreck certainly may have been. I will not argue with that, just because I don't think she was electable to begin with. But at the same point, just oh my, yeah.
Not to mention, a lot of people were disheartened by the Obama years. I mean,
I don't know. I think it's there's this weird like anti-government kind of thing that seems to be sweeping the planet. Let's mix things up and change things up. Something's broken, so let's just do something radical to try and fix it. And I kind of feel like we're shooting ourselves in the foot more often than not. But I guess we have 2 feet, so you can afford to lose one.
Yeah.
I don't really think it's anti-government. I actually think the
anti-establishment would have been better.
It's not. Well, there's an establishment people are against. The specific one is it's the era of globalization where corporations have more international power. And in fact, the nation state has lost the power that they used to have and possess. There's a reason why in the United States, even though anti-immigration movements have more financial backing, it's constantly the pro-immigration that. It's the pro-immigration that required. Actually, sorry. The pro-immigration side has far more financial backing from corporations, but the anti-immigration stuff is coming from, nationals, people who just don't want brown people in their country. And that's why, even though they have much more grassroots support, they're the ones who are winning it.
We've been
And
hearing the media, preach, so to speak, against the other for how long now?
quite some time. But which were the states that pushed it to Trump? It was the Midwest. It was the places where they were losing a lot of factory jobs,
Yeah,
where they
because
were
of
losing a lot of
outsourcing and this kind of stuff. Yeah.
That's actually something which is associated with globalization, pro big companies, and
Well, if you look back through the arc of time at the big time periods where there was this kind of unrest that often led to really fucking disruptive and fucked up leaders rising to power, you have the Enlightenment and then you have the Age of Industrialization and what have you.
well,
I mean, it's
there's a
whenever there's some major change in the cultural dynamics.
there was a hilarious tweet from one of my favorite Facebook pages, Existentialist Comics. They said, and then we reached the era of enlightenment where we castigated religion and silly superstition and focused on reason and science. And someone responded, oh, and then what happened? The person responded by saying, well, mostly genocide.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
I mean,
it's weird that you have the Age of Enlightenment and then you have eugenics, which really started in California, actually, weirdly enough.
nothing good could come out of California. And before you say, oh, that's just you being right wing, Ronald Reagan came out of California.
Actually, I was going to cite Jackie.
Oh, okay. Wait, isn't she from Georgia?
She's Californian, man.
Oh,
I don't know where she
okay.
was born, but I know she's lived in California, as far as I know, her whole life.
Oh, that's weird. That she was. Oh, well.
I mean, I'd cite Sam, but Jackie's a much more clear example.
That is true.
Little Miss Sunshine.
Even Sam would probably tell you, Shadow, I'm an egomaniac and I'm self-absorbed. I'm not a good example of this.
He probably would. You're probably right.
Yeah. He is pretty good at what's the term? He's pretty good at berating himself. I'll say that much.
Appropriate amount of self-deprecation, says the Catholic.
Hey, if there's one set of people who beats the Catholics at that, it's definitely the Jews.
Oh, that's true. That is definitely true. I have to give you that one.
Thank you.
Oi.
And if I marry a Jewish girl and I remain Catholic, our kids are going to be super guilty.
Would that be Julic or Cathish? Never mind.
It would probably be Julic.
I don't know. All I know is that Christina had to laugh at that because catheter was almost in there somewhere.
Yeah. Yes.
I've got to say, though, in terms of the bizarre shuffles and the weird trolling that we've had over the years, I think the best was that guy that was claiming that he had this stuff sloughing off of his dick. And it was so great that you were in there that day.
That was the best.
Absolutely one of my favorites.
The fact that it didn't faze me at all and I just went totally clinical on him, I think threw him for a loop.
I didn't know what to make of you or us or anything. It was just like, what? But you're supposed to be throwing me out. Why aren't you?
Check
supposed to be
agent.
completely startled. What happened?
Yeah.
Check secret agent spied on Trump. He's completely tax exempt for the next 30 years.
Yeah.
Who does the Czech Republic think they are, spying on American politicians? Russia.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, you know what? I actually don't. I actually don't mind when foreign agents disseminate information on local politicians, exposing their own shortcomings. I mean,
all they have to do is compliment Trump and tell him that he's great, and all will be forgiven.
Exactly.
But if they ask him what that strange animal that's living on his head is named, Trump would declare war on them.
Yeah.
Yep.
I still say it's some kind of alien shrivel, and he's under mind control.
It's
maybe
a
Trump is going to.
It's a guinea
Maybe
pig.
Trump.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't think people are going to mess with Trump because he's kind of like the crazy person in prison who will probably shank you for the smallest transgression.
Yeah.
But
I wouldn't be so sure about that.
There's enough
There's all-
counterbalances, but
all you need is one small country to set an example of.
You know what? I don't know. I mean, I might be wrong, but I'm not so sure about that. I think he stepped into a game which is way too much bigger than he thought it was.
I mean, the thing is, he really didn't seem to understand what was actually involved in the job to begin with, and he hasn't been going to security briefings, in generally speaking. And yeah, I think he's just going to have everybody else running the damn thing for him and acting more like the figurehead that the president always technically has been.
Yeah.
My-
You know, I don't think that would be such a bad thing.
Well, it depends what you do. I mean,
Yeah.
my biggest facepalm in the recent months was when he called Taiwan.
Yeah.
Jesus
You know what?
Christ.
I can't blame him for that, though. I mean,
Are you shitting me? What do you mean you
No.
can blame for that?
here's why. Here's why. Because when it comes to pissing off a huge, when it comes to pissing off China, I actually don't mind. I'm in Taiwan's camp on this one.
Are you?
No, Max. Sorry, I'm sorry. I mean, I totally understand what you say, and you're right. If we're talking about you, not someone which is going to be the president of your country in the next months. You know, I
Yeah.
can piss off
Well,
China. You can piss off
he has-
China. He cannot piss China off.
Fair point, but he has actually kind of made amends. As in terms of assigning a diplomat to China, he actually assigned one who has a lot of pro-China sympathies, and China
You can't get much more incompetent than that, though. You know,
Listen,
it's
I don't know. I don't know if it's more funny the fact that he made the phone call or that he made amends for that phone call. I don't know what is funnier. To be fair,
I don't know either.
I think it's more so I like them. They complimented me.
Yeah.
jeez.
Look, I was pissed off at China, but to be fair, they did say I have such a big penis, so all is forgiven.
Pretty much.
Yeah, keep repeating that.
Yeah. Your hands look large today, Mr. Trump. What? He does not see the obvious lie.
That was fantastic.
Hey, Shadow, is my Minecraft coming through on the feed?
Nope.
No, it's not. I have my bandwidth off for the feed
Oh.
because I don't know if that troll's going to pop back in or not.
Oh, because I was going to ask you if you recognized any of this.
Oh, hang on, give me a second. Let me
Okay.
turn on for a moment here. There we go. Ah,
Yeah, I got a hold of the mod, and I've been making
I'm
changes.
seeing the hangout. That's it.
Yeah,
Oh.
you're probably sharing the wrong.
Yeah, you're sharing the wrong window.
Oh, because I said to share the Minecraft window.
Yeah,
I don't know why it's
you're
not.
sharing the wrong window.
Oh, okay. Well, I tried.
Yep.
Well,
Valiant
that's
effort.
not. Yeah, I tried. Yeah, because I said my Minecraft window, but it's not doing it.
Sometimes it does weird stuff with that, especially when you're dealing with something that's basically browser-based for all intents and purposes.
Yeah, well, it's not doing it, so oh well.
Yeah, I've had issues with it before too.
That's too bad because I got a hold of Witherdrift, and I have videos up of the changes I've been making. So if you check out my channel, you wouldn't recognize it anymore. It's the Dragon Castle. I took Dragnot's pagoda and went crazy with it.
Oh. I vaguely remember the pagoda.
Well, there's a massive castle developing behind it now.
Cool. I
Oh,
really should check in with my editor at some point. No, I shouldn't. Fuck it. I'm out of commission till February. I don't know who I'm kidding.
Let me guess. Is it because of the way the daylight's working?
I don't know what it is. I'm blaming it on seasonal affective disorder, even though I was
Yeah.
never properly diagnosed with that. There are just certain times of the year that I'm just kind of meh,
yeah.
and that's roughly November through February.
Summer, now the winter months.
But sometime in March, I'll just be going insane and probably end up doing what I did last year and just basically vanish and write for 4 months straight, and hopefully get book 3 done in the process. Hell, I'm still supposed to be doing some editing on chapter 4 and of book 2, and that's just sitting there, and I just keep looking at it going, I'm not dealing with that today. It may kind of need a minor rewrite in a couple spots, so I'm kind of holding off on it. Because right now, if I were to even attempt it, I'd be forcing it.
By the way, there was actually a bit of news I wanted to share. I think you might know, Shadow, because we're Facebook friends, but I ended this semester with a 3.98 GPA, so just wanted
Nice.
Yeah.
Yep. I remember the post, and I remember commenting to you and telling you what kind of coffee I'd like when you're a barista.
Yeah.
Yep. Hopefully Starbucks will pay me extra for the degree.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
You know what? People make fun of Starbucks positions, but they have great dental and benefits.
They actually, from everything I've heard, they really do. And in some states where they've gone to the $15 an hour, I mean, shit.
Yeah.
Can't knock that by much.
And they're not even they're not even being replaced by machines.
Well, I mean, this is kind of the thing, is there's so many jobs out there that we just look down our noses on. And so many of these people that are so underpaid actually have to bust their ass harder than the people that get the big money.
Yeah.
That to me has always seemed kind of out of balance.
I
mean, they're muddling through with such a high and imbalanced pay to bullshit ratio.
I mean, my argument against raising the minimum wage at least up to $15 an hour is not that the people who work hard for the money don't work hard and they don't deserve anything more. But it's always been that when you inflate prices, what ends up happening is companies look for cheaper alternatives, machines, for example.
Well, and this is why I think we need to actually kind of invert the system a little bit and incentivize and hiring more people.
What we all agree on is the minimum wage model doesn't seem to work. As is. At the very least.
My idea that I'd pass on to everyone other than Trump in terms of people that have been running for office is to basically increase the corporate tax rate, but counterbalance it by offering a deduction per employee up to a certain amount, and also rolling into that things like pension plans and this and that, so the companies get a deduction for that too. So it basically incentivizes hiring more people, and the way to exploit the system would be by hiring people and have them twiddle their thumbs.
You know what?
But if American workers are effectively free up to a certain rate, what's the point in outsourcing them?
You know, here's the thing: if you were to pass it on to any president, I think Trump would probably be the most likely to take you up on that. You'd be like, "What the fuck do I know about employment? This sounds like a good idea."
Well, the problem is that he'd do it without increasing the corporate tax rate, and that would just completely destroy the entire concept.
You mean Trump?
You'd have to.
Corporate guy would not increase the corporate tax rate.
Yeah, you'd have to. Part of the thing is you absolutely have to increase the corporate tax rate. In part, this will fuck over your investment bankers and this kind of stuff, as well as the venture capitalists and what have you, because they're going to be taxed like a motherfucker because they don't actually hire people. It's the people that have employees that benefit from it, not the people that just sit there and play in the market. Investment firms are not getting dick off this deal. And they're kind of getting fucked. And since he lives by getting loans and not paying them back, not that good.
Yeah, okay.
That, and frankly, even if it did work, I wouldn't want that asshole to get the credit for it.
No.
Isn't it more important that the people benefit from it rather than, even if it comes at the cost of an asshole getting credit for it?
Well, considering that I've floated this by every candidate up to this current round, I certainly don't seem to think it does matter, with exception of Trump, who not a narcissistic, maniacal retard. No, not this guy. I'm sorry. I don't care how good an idea it is. I'm not going to try and help a sociopath potentially get reelected.
Well, did you see too? He tried to say that they refilmed part of Rogue One to make commentary about him.
Oh my
It's like,
God.
you're not part of the fucking Star Wars universe. Get over yourself, you whiny child.
Insane narcissist. Sorry.
It-
No.
It has to be about me.
Although it would be kind of interesting if that's what Rogue One did.
But everything's got to be about him, and it's like, will you just fucking grow up? You know?
Well, Alec Baldwin does have to be about him, though.
It's like having an 8-year-old running the country.
Yeah.
Stop insulting 18-year-old, Shadow.
I said 8.
Stop insulting 8-year-old, Shadow.
No, never.
Uh,
I've had 2 of them. They both outgrew it. Lucky for them. Good grief.
Oh, no kidding.
There might still be hand marks around their necks from. Oh, never mind. No, I didn't actually do the Homer and Bart thing, but I might have thought of it once or twice.
yeah, it's really hard to blame him.
Dogs are being whiny and annoying.
Mm.
What are you whining about, girl? Obnoxious bitch. Is Mama home, or do you want to go out, or what the hell's your deal? Come on. Come on, let me just put you out. Then you can be a pain in the ass. And I don't have to listen to you whine. Go on, girl.
I can be a pain in the ass outside.
Yeah. Yep, lo and behold, she was looking for Bear. That's the neighbor's dog. I can hear him barking, so it must be. Second out the door.
My dog actually learned to open the door. That bastard.
Oh, the new house has a dog door, so I won't have to worry about this shit at least.
Well, he sleeps outside and he stays outside, but he has learned to open, the kitchen door.
To let himself in or out, or both.
He just opens the door and stays there because he knows he's not allowed in the house. But he opens the door, and it's funny because, I
he
had
opens the door, just stands in the doorway.
Yeah, because he's very polite. I had one, but the thing is that he does that when he's hungry. So he just opens the door. You realize he's opening the door, and he looks at you and says, "You know what? I'm hungry. What the fuck are you gonna do with that?"
Yeah.
It was funny because I had a dog which actually was bringing you the pan, the
dog food dish.
Yeah. So it was bringing you the dog food, and it was just throw it into the kitchen. Say, you know what, fill it.
Ah!
I had another one which was actually calling.
Feed me, slave.
Yeah, the one which died this year, it was actually calling. It was, sitting at the door, and it was barking, but it wasn't barking continuously. It was just making woof, and then he waited.
More pay attention to me than actual
And
just,
then another one, woof, I'm hungry, And this one is, he just, opens the door. There you go.
Hilarious. I love it.
That's funny.
Yeah, which is a problem because, we don't lock the door at night. So,
yeah.
You see, there is that. So I don't know. I mean, it's just a couple of days. So could we just see if he doesn't want to do that at night? We're just looking to see if he does that or not.
That's funny.
It is funny, yeah.
There we go.
Nope, I need cobble.
And he's a big pussy, Jesus Christ. I mean, he's 9 months old. He's 32 kilograms. And today I went to IKEA with my wife, and we brought the dog. I mean, the other one was home. She's 12 years old. She couldn't be bothered. So we brought the other one. And for some fucked up reason, he doesn't want to make the stairs there. Okay.
Yeah.
And we have stairs outside. It just goes on and on with no problem. But those ones, So he just, steps there with the poles like that. So, thankfully enough, there is the elevator. So we go on the elevator. But then I said, okay, he doesn't want to go up. Let's see if he wants to go down. So we went to the stairs down, and he made the same thing. And my wife, she told me, come on, let's take the elevator. Don't embarrass him. I said, what the fuck do you mean don't embarrass him? I mean, I don't want to go there. Yeah.
Oh, funny.
Such a
Dogs
good-
will sniff their own asses, but they get embarrassed.
Yeah,
I don't.
yeah, yeah.
Let's take a quick glance here.
Oh, by the way, there's this pretty hilarious story told by Carrie Fisher that I found. I think everyone here would enjoy. Just hold on, let me pull it up. Oh, here it is. Anyway, George came up to me on the first day of filming, and he takes a look at my dress and says, "You can't wear a bra under that dress." So I say, "Okay, I'll buy." Why? And he says, "Because there's no underwear in space." I promise you.
Okay.
I promise you, this is true. And he said it with such conviction too. Like he had already been to space, looked around, and he didn't see any bra or panties anywhere. Now, George came to my show when he was in Berkeley, came backstage and explained why you couldn't wear underwear, why you couldn't wear your brassiere in other galaxies. And I have a sense you'll be going to outer space very soon. So here's why you cannot wear your brassiere, per George. So what happens is you go to space and you become weightless. So far, so good, right? But then your body expands, but your bra doesn't. So you get strangled up by your own bra. Now, I think this would make a fantastic orbit. So I tell my younger friends that no matter how I go, I want it reported that I drowned in moonlight, strangled by my own bra.
Yep.
That almost sounds like George had a little bit of a fantasy thing going on there.
Well, considering the outfit he put her in,
Yeah.
there could be something to that.
Yeah. Oh, Carrie, put this on. I just want to see you in this.
Okay, it's a wrap.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not the first time science fiction directors have been creepy. What's his name from Star Trek?
Roddenberry?
Roddenberry. He was quite the womanizer.
Roddenberry. No, are you sure? I've never heard that. I know Shatner was.
Oh, Roddenberry was actually quite a perv. In fact, on one, what was the name of the psychologist in the second series? The one
redhead. I can't think of her name.
No, she had black hair.
Crusher.
No, she had. Oh,
Deanna.
Deanna
Troy.
Oh, Deanna Troy.
Deanna,
Yeah.
He wanted to have her with 3 boobs, but they just didn't have the.
That would have taken some work, actually. The interesting thing about her was that she, prior to being on the show, she'd actually been in porn, if I remember correctly. Much of my friends were going on and on that she was some porn star or something like that back in, I don't remember what decade.
Wow.
Yeah. I had a number of friends who were going on and on about it. I'm like, yeah, I don't care.
I mean, let's see. If I remember correctly, he was. There's actually an article written by the National Review that kind of documents his misogyny. It also says he was a hack, but I'm not quite willing to believe that much. Let's see. So yeah, he had that thing about him. Let's see. Also, the New York Post has something written.
Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. I know how to count. Woohoo!
Sorry, I'm off on Skype picking on Chris for not being Italian enough.
Herb Wright, a writer on The Next Generation, remembers a speech Roddenberry, then 67, gave about women during a meeting. "We don't want to infer that would be a better society if women ruled," Wright recalled him saying, "because as we all know, women are goddamn cunts."
Ah.
Yeah.
Huh? Okay.
Yep. Another Next Generation writer, Tracy Tomei, says Roddenberry told him women will suck the marrow out of your bones.
Wow.
And so there was.
Maybe
there
that was
were
just a
those.
comment about fellatio? No, never mind.
Yeah.
Well, if it was if it was said to a female writer, then I guess that would be grounds for sexual harassment,
Yeah.
at least according to our standards today.
It's weird. I don't know. Considering how progressive his writing was in terms of the way he wrote the
Yeah.
characters, that's kind of shocking.
Well, he was
And especially with Sulu, with George Takei, he knew George was gay.
Oh my.
Yes.
Well, remembering the original series, though, there were some points where he was fairly conservative. Like, even though in the future there was no war back on Earth, there was one episode where they traveled back in time to the peace era, and when they could have interfered in stopping the Vietnamese War or something like that, it was stopped because, quote, now is not the proper time for peace. Like, there was some kind of justification on those grounds.
Huh.
So maybe he was progressive in some areas, like maybe homosexuality, but when it came to women, he was kind of a misogynist. Like, that's possible.
Which,
Yeah.
seeing as it was one of the first shows that actually let women be on the bridge, it's still a little, I don't know.
Well, they didn't take any leadership positions until, it wasn't until Janeway where the commander of the ship was a woman,
Yeah.
and that was after he died.
Yeah.
I get frustrated with the hand control these days. Trying to type.
Yeah, I sometimes get that. I want to be able to pick up my 12 string and play again, but like right now my fingertips are sensitive just touching anything. It hurts. So
Yeah.
it's like, and that's my left hand, the one that controls the neck of the guitar.
Yeah, same here.
My tip is if you have a 6-string, get that and use
The tip of your what? What are you talking about now, Max? You perv?
fingers.
Anyway.
The problem is I have extensive nerve damage down my left arm.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't know what's causing that. And the 6th string, I can't get my wrist around it because I had it in the same fall. I had the wrist dislocated. And then with the nerve damage going there, I can play the 12, but I can't get around a 6.
So it's just not a matter of the calluses then.
Right. And
I see.
My fingertips are sensitive, even picking up a pen. They're starting to hurt. So I don't know, I've got a lot of damage in my neck and bulging discs and compression fractures in my neck, and I'm still working. And then the torn rotator on this side from last April when I fell on ice. So I'm going to be probably seeing disability at some point. I shouldn't be lifting patients, but
you do what you have to do. Yeah.
Yeah.
On the other hand, in my case, it's just simply the stroke.
Yeah.
Because I lost a certain degree of mobility in the wrist and hand, and basically my fingers are never where I tell them to go, which is kind of bizarre.
I haven't played guitar in over a year now. I should probably get back to it.
Same here. I gave my nephew my 6th string that I bought in '92, and it's been on stage with me and stuff. And so he's actually been on stage with it. And I still have my 12. My daughter's got my electric, and I still have my dobro slide guitar here too, but that's about it. And I really want to start playing again, and I'm just going to have to knuckle under and start doing it, I think. Maybe rehabilitate my arm enough to keep function. One can hope.
Carson says Merry Christmas to everyone. That's nice. He
Oh, yay.
apparently forgot to send them out. Oh well.
Oh, Merry Christmas right back.
Yeah.
I just checked Facebook. I wished him a Merry what the fuck miss. A little late, but you know. It's a matter of when you catch people on at this point.
Yeah.
This has actually been the lowest viewer count I've had for one of these in ages. I don't know what the hell's going on here. I think it's just the day.
Oh, Steve McRae had a huge viewer count last night because Aaron Ross
know.
showed up.
Oh yeah, I was in there.
What
It's like,
things?
man,
I got to poke fun at Aaron because I always do.
I missed it. I mean, I was at work, so I got to see it, but I couldn't get in the hang because I was at work, you know,
Yeah.
patient privacy and all that. And it's like, oh man, this sucks.
Yeah, it's a thing.
Aaron's so freaking cool.
That was actually one of the things for me that was kind of strange about it is that a lot of people when they were kind of like, Aaron, 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 and I'm like, guys, calm the fuck down. Now, I guess it's okay. I've never been into the whole like thinking of celebrities as being any different from anyone else, and not really thinking of YouTubers as actual fucking celebrities.
Yeah.
Oh, Talking Shit Tuesday is going on today after all. That's part of the problem. Okay.
Oh, that might be why, yeah.
Yeah, somebody was saying they didn't think there was going to be one today, so I kind of decided to fuck off.
I'm personally I'm not feeling Talking Shit Tuesday anymore. I don't think I'll go in for the foreseeable future.
It's kind of just the same old to me. You know, I stopped watching a while ago. It's always G-Man or something
Flat
like that.
Earthers
and it's
exist.
like,
Christian said something stupid.
yeah, it's like, yeah, I've had enough of this.
Yeah. I mean, it's unfortunate that the drama is what gets so many views, but you can't actually educate people and talk about drama at the same time.
Yeah.
You can try to, but yeah.
Well, you could try, but everyone just says, shut the fuck up, Max.
Shut the fuck up, Max.
Exactly. not to play victim or anything.
Just a little, maybe.
Just a little, okay. Guiltily.
No Maori today. They're having fun stomping around Shanna's old stomping grounds. Really cool that the two of them are engaged.
Yep.
Who?
Christopher Shanna Rocky and Christopher Maori.
Oh.
Very well matched pair. Let's see now.
Okay, I have no zombies coming after me. Yay.
I
That's
remember
the usual
back
state of affairs here. We have rednecks instead. Living in Texas is more like Redneck Rampage than, oh, wait a minute. Who actually would know that game reference?
it's actually kind of nice that relationships can blossom here on Google Plus.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the only two that I've seen work are Jackie and Kevin and Christopher and Shanna. Were there any others that I'm not mentioning?
Logic didn't chew on head.
Logic
Yeah.
Oh, and of course Brian J. and
Exile, we can't forget that a couple, no. Granted, that was a lot longer in the making.
Wait, who did you say Shoe on Head and?
Logic.
I thought Shoe on Head was dating Armored Skeptic.
Do I have it wrong? I might. Wait, I think you're right. Yeah, I
Yeah.
forget who the
Okay.
hell's who at this point. You can tell how much attention I pay. Shut up, puppy!
Nah.
Well, actually, I don't think they met on Google Plus and Google Hangouts. Didn't they meet on on just general YouTube stuff?
There's also the weird crush that seems to be going on between Redline and Hannah, but I don't know if that's going to turn into anything.
I think that's just something we're making.
It might be more theatrical, but there does seem to be. I don't know. I'm starting to get the feeling that there might be a little bit of a crush going on there.
All I know All I know is whenever I see them, I'm going to be sure to tease them about it.
Man,
Actually, no, I'll be sure to tease Hannah about it. Redline actually is okay with the rumors.
yeah, that's Redline. See, I should probably consider cooking dinner at some point.
Yeah, I gotta go and make stuff and get ready for work. Need to eat before I go to work
Mm-hmm.
and work out yet. So
And
yeah,
and theoretically, I should call this anyway. I've been running for a little bit of a while, and it's been a small room, but it's been fun up to this point.
well, let me show you what my needle felting is turning into. This is just the armature.
Well, let me get my bandwidth up then. There we go.
Yeah, this is just the armature on this guy right now. It's going
Is
to
he
be
supposed to be again?
it's a dragon, yeah.
I see.
So he's going to be fully out of wool, and he'll be able to climb my walking stick for the Renaissance Festival.
Ah, cool.
And so I have him wired on the inside, and I've used handmade wool to wrap everything, and I'm still doing some more tonight. And then I needle felt right to the wool. He's going to be green with a yellow underbelly.
Yellow
So
belly.
yeah,
There we go.
Yep. Yeah, he's a little garden dragon, and he's got glass eyes, and I might have him holding a strawberry in his claws. I don't know yet.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I've been doing.
There we go. Yeah.
But yeah, I gotta go and start getting stuff done.
Well, it was good to have you for a bit.
Oh, it's nice to be back.
Yeah. Take
Hopefully
care.
this year, I'll be back more. So, and it was nice seeing you again, Fabio.
Take care. Bye.
Bye, you guys.
Bye.
And I'm going to take this off air. Let me see now.